the moment. This is what I thought we were going to get, or hoping we were going to get. Let me go find some other pullbacks. Green day, down day. Or if you don't even count that, look, up day, down day. So two up, one down. It's not unusual for the bottom of a pullback to do that. Even this one's a big dump here. This was the end of the bear market. A big dump. People thought we were headed lower. Ended up that was the bottom. So with that said, here's what we're looking like today. Our first two consecutive up days in a row since the start of this correction. So that was brutal. That was really brutal. But we are slightly down today. As long, in my opinion, as long as we're going to finish today, I would say in the 558 range, 557 or higher. I still think that's a good sign for us. I think this is a very normal. We had a pretty sharp snapback over the last two days here. Just a normal little reset here. We just don't want us to fall out of this back to the 555, 556 range and lower. That would be bad. Let me go and open up the chat here. Hey, Dan. Hey, Addie. Hey, Stacy. Walter, how you doing? I try to sell call options, but can't. I use a public platform. I've never used that. Walter, I've never used public. I also don't normally sell call options by itself. I don't really like covered calls or naked calls. I will do spreads, in which case I'm buying a call and selling a call simultaneously, but that might be a little bit different than what you're talking about. Hey, Victor. All right, well, we should be live and ready to roll, and I'll get this already started here in a second. Let me. All righty. Hey, Denise. Hey, Pat. All right, let's dive in. Telegram of the week, March 13th, about 5 days ago. I gave you these stocks that I liked. I actually already sold NVIDIA after the 2 day pop. Um, it was just a quick snapback on the underlying stock for me. I have HWM right now. Progressive is my biggest holding. I have GEV still have ANET. But a nice little snapback from here. If you're not in Telegram, you missed this. Let me post this in the chat. Hopefully everyone here is in Telegram. But we always get one or two people who aren't in Telegram. So I just posted in the chat. It's a free channel. I post real-time updates right here from me, from my desktop here, and it comes to you instantly. So it's not like the emails where they'll sometimes take a few minutes to go out. Telegram is instant. So definitely join Telegram. I'll be talking a little bit more about Telegram here in a second as well. But first, let's go ahead and dive into the morning market update. So here was the market open this morning. As I just showed you, we're a little bit lower than that now. Stocks sold off a little bit, about 0.1, 0.2% more than what you see here, but straight nosedive at the open. If anyone is here on the call right now and wants to place a trade because you're bored and tired of listening to me, I did notice this. We've had a lot of, you'll notice, sorry, I zoomed in a little too far there. So see this nosedive? If you count six candles, so 30, or it's 30 minutes, so six of the 5 minute candles, it's 30-minute time frame. Right now would be a good time to buy for a snapback, in my opinion, if you want to trade a short dated call option, because I'm so boring on this call and you want to watch your option move. I would be buying a call right about now. 1 day to expiration, 0 days to expiration. Same thing. We've seen it to the upside, 6 bars in a row, small pullback. We've seen it. Here's another upside, 6 bars in a row, pullback. I'm trying to find the down day. 6 bars in a row to the downside. Big upswing. This is kind of like today. We saw this exact price movement today. So just for fun right now, if you want to put on a little call option, what I would do is just go to the SPY. I'd just like tomorrow. Good time to buy a call. Let it sit while we're on this opening playbook call. You could even do a spread if you want to. But you can just buy basic call option here because I would guess right now we've had such a flush out here that we'll probably get a retracement back here to the 563 range while on this opening playbook. I guess we can follow up with that and see how that works out. So right now we're opening lower. Again, 2 strong days. We had a strong Friday, a strong Monday, and today we're getting a little bit of a breather. We just don't want it to fall out of bed too much, and I think we're going to be okay. We also have Fed Day tomorrow. So this is really important. Nobody's expecting an interest rate cut. If they were to do that, I think the markets would go crazy. It would mean that the pressure from the White House is working. With that said, nobody expects that. I don't expect that. I think there's a less than 10% chance. I would say even less than 5% chance that that happens. But what's going to be really interesting isn't the decision because more likely than not, it's going to be no cuts. What's going to be really interesting is to see what Jerome has to say. If the Fed is still taking the stance that, hey, we don't know what we're going to do because there's so much volatility coming out of the White House. One day it's tariffs, one day it's not, one day it's a ceasefire, one day it's not a ceasefire. Or are they going to say, hey, we're looking at the data, economy's slowing. Look, we saw retail sales this morning take a drop from the forecast, up from the previous, but drop from the forecast. We got GDP next week. We're going to watch these reports and we might have rate cuts coming. I think if they say that, markets will rally on the news. I think if they say it's so uncertain right now, markets are going to drop on the news. So pay attention. That's tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's also, if you guys don't like volatility, if you don't like holding through crazy whiplashes, if you have some profits open, maybe take some profits today or take some profits tomorrow before the interest rate call at 2 p.m. Eastern because we are going to see some whipsaw action right about 2 o'clock through 3 through the end of the day, really. And depending what they say, it could be very violent whips in either direction. The most recent Fed days have not been as crazy, so that'd be good, I think, if we get that. But who knows? There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Like I mentioned, next week on the reports, we have GDP as the big one on Thursday next week. Again, two negative GDP readings in a row would be a recession. So that's a really important report for people right now since there's a lot of talk. I mean, I think the voting polls or even the Wall Street, if you run the number of analysts predicting recession, it jumped from like 10% think that there was going to be a recession this year to now it's like 41% of people think we are going to see a recession this year. Could happen. GDP is going to be the way that we kind of get a good idea of what things are looking like right now. So pay attention to that. Let me just walk you guys through this really quick. I've done this before. I try to do this every 4 or 5 weeks. Just so if you guys want to see how I pull these reports, you can do it for yourself. So let me go ahead and post this link in the chat. Get ready to save this link. Here we go. Posting this in the chat. So if you want to see economic news coming up, I use investing.com. Great tool, great site. I love it. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger here. So I sent that link in the chat. So if you click that link, it should open up the economic calendar. Now you're going to see on here about 1 million different economic reports. Hey, you can follow them all if you want to. This is just today. Look at all these reports today. But what I like to do is I like to slim out to just the major US reports. So I don't want the Brazil reports. I don't want the US reports that aren't a big deal. So what I'm going to do, you click this link. Let's go to click this week, reports for this week. Hopefully everyone's following this. Once you've clicked this week, we're going to go over here to filters. So I'm going to click filters. And now I'm going to go ahead and go under the country category and clear all of them. And then we're going to go just manually select the United States. So scroll all the way to the bottom. And it's here in this left column, United States, alphabetical order. Little American flag there. Love to see it. And then what we're going to do before we apply is we only want the most important reports. So we don't want the 1 star. We don't want the 2 star. We want the 3 star reports, which it's just a weighting. 1 is least relevant, 3 is most relevant. And then we're going to apply. So this is really going to slim down our list to the most important economic reports coming up. And we've selected this week. So there you see the retail sales tomorrow, Fed interest rate decision, press conference. Thursday, we have jobless claims in the morning. Then we can go to next week right here. Everyone see next week. Click that. You can see what's coming up next week. Now, they don't have stuff super far out, so you're not going to be able to see like end of April. Let's just see. Nothing showing up on end of April, but you can see about a week and a half ahead. Let's see if they have the first. What did I just do? Let's do next week. And then let me see if they have the following week up already or not. So they do have 2 weeks out up there. So you guys can see what's coming up. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's resourceful. I think this stuff is important. I wouldn't spend too much time speculating or trying to guess on what the reports will be, but it is good to know if we have a huge report coming up, maybe take some profits. Or some people like to trade into the reports. I do that into the CPI report. just because the markets move so much. You can have some fun, get a little bit of a lottery ticket scratch off type of trade on, and just, hey, if it works out, you can hit a huge 300% winner. If it doesn't, you can lose your money. Happens. But those can be fun, volatile days. This is the key to knowing what's coming up. All right, back to the opening playbook. We'll keep this moving. We'll do some live trading here at the end per the usual. I guess I'm going to bring this down. Sorry, I'm just trying to make the screen fit good for you guys. All right. Let's see. Let me catch up on the chats here. Am I still bullish on gold? Yes, Jason, I am. I have physical gold, so I can't not be bullish on gold unless I'm going to go sell it, which would be a hassle. So I probably won't do it. I'll probably hold it forever. Does NVIDIA have a major announcement at 1 p.m. today? Good question, Keith. Does NVIDIA announcement? I didn't even notice that. They do. Keynote address today at 1 p.m. Eastern. Bill, or not Bill, excuse me, Keith. Good find there, Keith. So NVIDIA does have a keynote address today at 1 p.m. Eastern. Awesome stuff. Yep, conference all week from the 17th to the 21st. CEO is speaking today at 1. It'll be lucky if only a recession. I'm planning on a depression worse than 1929. Bill, it definitely could be. I think we have a very different I think that the monetary policy right now is much different than 1929. I think that all changed in the 70s off the gold standard. But it could be at some point. It's probably bound to happen, but I'm not sure. Yesterday's Jack's Bitcoin strategy was pretty interesting. Do you feel that long term it can work, especially if Bitcoin keeps falling? Doug, I think it is a really good one for if Bitcoin does keep falling, it can lower your cost basis. The only downside to it is if Bitcoin gets a big rip, you're going to miss out on some of that upside. Housing regulations are better than 1929 too. Yeah, Stacy, I agree. All right, let's keep rolling here. Charts of the week. This is an interesting one. This one's only happened one other time in history. Per this last week's data from the AAII survey, bear sentiment is now above 59%. So bears have now been above 55% for 3 weeks in a row. And this has only happened one other time in history. And there you see it highlighted. So 3 weeks in a row, it was above this reading. And this is kind of just, it's almost cherry picking, 59%. What a weird number. But hey, we're just saying at these extreme levels, the only other time in recent history was 2009, the very bottom of the 2008 crash. Obviously, we have not seen anything near that. So it's a little bit extreme that people are this bearish right now. But even if you look back here, 2022, very similar. Big spike in the readings, bottom of 2022. Let's look previously. What is this one? This one's pretty close. That was the bottom of the dot-com bubble. Look at this, a little dip in the 90s. Whenever we see this thing spike, might be a good time to buy. Let's take a look at this one. Tom Lee posted this, who I've been following, Fun Strats. He and I kind of see eye to eye right now, as far as we both have seen over the last week that it's time to be buying, while everyone else is screaming fear across every headline you see is recession, dump stocks, scary, scary. He said he's buying right now. I told you I'm buying. I bought in probably a couple days before what I think is the bottom, which was a little bit painful for sure, but already almost back to all-time highs while the market is still down in the dumps. So if you look at this, this was the 5th fastest market correction in history, which means it was the 5th fastest to get to a 10% drop. All previous rapid corrections, we ended up higher in 3, 6, and 12 months looking forward. So he says the bottom is likely end. So here, if you look, these are very quick flash crashes. We call them flash crashes. We just had the 5th fastest flash crash in the history of the markets. Every single time over the next 3 months, the markets have been positive. 6 months positive, 12 months positive, some really good returns positive. So you know I'm bullish. This is just some data to show you another reason why I'm bullish. Again, I've shown you guys this before. Not uncommon for the first half of March, into February, first half of March to have a pullback. This is the S&P over the last 20 years, the seasonality of the S&P. Here you can see what we kind of just went through, almost mirrors exactly what just happened. And then the next few months are bullish. I've shown you guys this chart a lot. This is just a much cleaner, prettier version of it, in my opinion. So I normally give you guys some bearish charts and some bullish charts, but I'm so bullish right now. That's all I'm going to show today is bullish charts because that's what I believe. And if we look at the market overview, this was last week's analysis. This is what came next. Been pretty spot on all year long. I predicted a crash right about here, so I was about a week early, and then I predicted a bottom in here, so I was about a week early. But as of otherwise speaking, pretty spot on, and hopefully we continue to climb from here. Again, not uncommon for us to get a small little breather pullback today. We just don't want the S&P to give back these whole gains to 555, 556 level. If it closes here, that is not a big problem. That is very normal. Look, we had a big rally. Here was the close on Thursday, and look at this big flip on Friday. That's what, a 2.5% rally we saw on Friday. Another nice move yesterday. So again, bang, bang, breather. It's just, we just don't want this ship to start sinking from here. If we're looking at the fear and greed index, the greed and fear index on CNN, which is a cool little tool, it's still an extreme fear. Again, this reading along with this reading to me is absurd. Look, that's us right now. Why are people so scared right now? It's not like we've had a deep correction at all. It's a 10% correction, very mild. It happened very fast, and that could be the reason for the extreme fear. Happened so fast, it caught people off guard. With that said, this is way overdone in my opinion. And we're seeing the same thing again. The put to call ratio stabilizing around that 0.9 range. I posted this last week, but we did end up getting a spike above 1. And again, as I've mentioned before, every time we get a spike above 1, that's typically a time to be buying stocks. It's worked almost with the perfect accuracy over the last many, many years. It's amazing. Actually, check this out. I came across this data this week. And this is mind blowing. Actually, let me just pause here. Does everyone know what this chart is? The put to call ratio here that I'm showing. Do you guys need me to walk you through this? I show this every week, but I know we get new folks here in the room every week. Rochelle says Warren Buffett is now bullish. Interesting. All right, couple yeses, couple nos. I'll walk through it. Walter, I keep seeing that NVIDIA will announce either a partnership or purchase of a small company. Maybe, Walter. I'm guessing that's just speculation, and whoever told you that doesn't really know. They're just saying maybe this might happen. Because if somebody knew and somebody posted that, the whole market would know and have it all priced in. I will cover the sectors here in a second. All right. So this is the put to call ratios. Everyone familiar with what a call option is and a put option? Basically, call options are a way to leverage upside moves in the markets if you think stocks are going up. Put options mean you think stocks are going down. Now, let me ask a question here. Are stocks more likely over time to go up or down? Just over extended periods of time. That's exactly right. You guys are right. Up, 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 up. Yes, exactly. So if stocks are more likely to go up than down, are people more likely to purchase calls, which means you think the stock market's going up, or puts? If everybody knows that stocks go up over time, calls, calls, calls. Exactly. So what the put to call ratio is it tells us how many puts are being purchased over how many calls are being purchased. It's just a simple division. So a typical reading is right here in this 0.8 to 0.85 range, which means for every 8 puts purchased, there's 10 calls being purchased. Does that make sense? Or for every 10 calls purchased, there's 8 puts purchased. It's very normal for us to have more calls going out than puts because stocks tend to go up over time. Does that make sense? Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So when this ratio, the put to call ratio is between this range right about here, there's not a lot we can do with that information. That's very normal. Let me just draw a box on it to show you exactly when we're here. This is just a very normal market trading action, right? Stocks tend to go up, good times, we're in a bullish trend. That's a very normal put to call ratio. However, when we get outside these ranges, let's start with the calls. When we get an extreme amount of call buyers, meaning now instead of for every 10 calls purchased, there's 8 puts. Now it's like a 10 to 7 or even 10 to 6 ratio where there's way, way, way more call buyers than put buyers. That tends to mean that greed has taken control of the market and people are getting maybe a little too bullish and it might be time for a pullback. And that's why this all lined up here in February when I told you I think a pullback's coming. I think a pullback's coming. And it didn't happen. I was a little early, but eventually, actually, right about here was the start of the pullback. So we had this extreme spike, extreme bullishness, and markets pulled back. On the flip side, I'm not even going to highlight that because this was the elections. So that's why that one was so crazy. People were just insuring their account. On the flip side, though, when we see a 1-to-1, so this reading is 1, which means there's a 1-to-1 put to call ratio, meaning for every 10 calls purchased, there's 10 puts. Yet we know that over time stocks go up. So why would more people be buying puts? That doesn't make sense. That often means that people are too bearish or over bear, or they're extended to the downside, overextended, in which sense we need it to balance back out to about this range here. So whenever we see a spike above 1, we know, hey, this is a little extreme, guys. This might be a little dramatic. Think that this is a little overdone and we might see a bounce in the markets. And so every time it's over 1, I tell you guys you should be buying stocks. And this happened just the other day, spiked at 1025, which means there were actually more people buying puts than people buying calls. That's an extreme reading. So that's how we use this chart, the put to call ratio. If it's in this range, not much to do about it. But when we get to extreme levels, zero point 0.7, that typically means, hey, we might need to cool off. Or above 1, that typically means a bottom is in or near to being in. Any questions on that, or did that make good sense for the most part? L makes sense. Stacy, good, makes sense. Awesome. Well, if you guys have any questions, I can follow back up with that. So now that we know what the put to call ratio is, let's take a look at this. So I just told you we hit above 1 last week. Here's a little interesting data point for you. This is when the put to call ratio gets above 0.93. So the put buyers are starting to step in, the bears are starting to step in, and at the same time the S&P falls at least 10% or is in a correction. So when we get that extreme put buying and we're in a correction, what happens? Well, since the start, since 2009, the secular bull market we're in, whenever this happens, the put to call ratio is above 0.93 and we get a correction, stocks were higher 12 months later, 100% of the time, with a median return of 22%. So you see these little green arrows? Every time we've gotten this put call ratio above 0.93 and we were in a correction, stocks ended up higher over the next year. And not just 2, 3, 4, 5% higher, 22% higher from the reading. So we just had this reading last week, which means if history repeats, on average, 22%. Now, I think that's a little bit maybe too bullish from where I'm at right now over the next year, just because of the current environment. But I do think it's a good time to be buying, and I think that this is just more icing on the cake of why I'm so bullish, why everyone's saying fear, sell, big crash. I'm going against it. Me, Tom Lee, and it sounds like Buffett too. You got to look at the data. You got to take your emotions, which is so easy to trade off emotions. Fear is the strongest emotion. People are, myself included, more scared of losing what you have than being greedy and trying to gain something else. So when the markets drop, it's so easy to sell and give up the data, give up the strategy, give up the game plan you showed up with. But right now, the data is pointing towards this is actually really, really, uh, historically speaking, a very, very bullish opportunity. If we look at the stocks, the percentage of the stocks above the 50-day moving average, so how many stocks are near their all-time highs? Well, we don't have that many. It was about 25% last week, about 30% this week. However, when we get into these extreme readings again of about 30%, we normally get a rebound. We normally get a rebound and a rebound. And here we are right now, currently rebounding at the moment. Trick question. Does that mean every day stocks are going to go up? No. Let's look at the August dip. Up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, 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 down. It doesn't mean every day we're going sky high. So even though today we're down 1% on the S&P, that's not that scary to me because this is an extreme reading, which typically means we're going to trend back higher. Same thing for stocks above the 200-day moving average. So stocks that are in either a bullish or bearish trend, just broadly speaking, we are at an extreme level, and I think we're going to see a bounce back to the 50% range. Daphne, is this data good for options that are not leaps? So when I'm looking at something like this, that's good for my long-term stock positions. But when I'm looking at something like this, Daphne, this is going to be good for my short-term options. Oops, I did not mean to do that. When I'm looking at this is going to be a much more short-term reading. Look, we've had this reading happen a few times over the last few months. This is a short-term time to be increasing positions. This is me personally speaking. You make your own mind up on what you want to do. But when I see this, I like to increase position sizing. However, this is a good, they go in tandem, hand in hand, but this is a good reason for me to say, hey, I'm going to buy some more stocks right now versus waiting for a further dip. We might get a further dip. I'm not going to promise that we won't, but right now, for me, just looking at the data, trying to take emotions out of it, things look really good. Seasonally speaking, same chart here that I've been showing you. March, April, May tend to be bullish months. Also, if we look at this, this is S&P market performance over the last 20 years. And this here you can see beginning of March, end of March, right? There's all these lines here, but those are just the different indexes. Right now, this was us this year. But here we are right about here, March 18th today, which is typically the March bottom. So when we get these pullbacks in March, which is historically over the last 20 years, this is the average movement in March, down in the first half of the month. Look at what happens here. When we bottom out, finish higher. And actually, if you look at this, we finish higher than we started the month of March, historically speaking, which would put us, let's see, that would put us at about 600 on the S&P 500, which you're going to find interesting here in just a moment when I give you my prediction for where I think the S&P 500 is going this month. I just told you, I think 600. All right. Same thing here if we're looking at the presidential cycle, seasonal patterns, very normal. Now, again, we had a little bit more of extreme move to the upside and then a more of an extreme move to the downside, but we are following the same cyclical pattern. Up and down in January, all-time highs here in January, all-time highs here in January, pull back in February, pull back in February. Now here, I expected the March bottom to come sooner. Like I told you, I was a little early on that, about a week early, but it looks like the bottom may be in now. And what happens from middle of March through the next few months? Very nice bullish move in all-time highs. So here's my outlook for you guys. This is over the next 4 weeks or so. I expect us to get a nice move upwards here to about the 585 range, between 580, 585. And then somewhere in here, after about 2 weeks of a rally, I expect some choppiness, some sell-off, some people getting scared, profit taking, whatever it may be. And then I think we're going to get back to this 600s level again. That is very normal for March to finish higher at the end of the month than it started the month. So we started the month right here, and I think we're going to finish the month or at least get close to the 600 level. So here's my prediction for you for the next few weeks. Obviously, guys, if Trump comes out and does some tariffs and all sorts of stuff, like that's going to override this. Anything that's happening in the real time that is big market moving news is going to override this. But I think if things play out and nothing crazy happens, this is what I expect to see over the next 4 weeks or so. If we get good news, on the other hand, if we get ceasefires overseas, if Trump in some of these other countries, if we start to chill on the trade war stuff, I think this will be you can just shift this whole thing. Just shift this whole thing higher is what I think will happen. It'll be more like that. So, pending on the news, this is what I've kind of got. This is what I got planned out for the next few weeks for my trading. It's my outlook coming up on the S&P 500. Of course, I'll revisit this every week. And if you're in Telegram, again, I posted this yesterday, so you would have had a jump start to this. If you're not in Telegram, go ahead and get in there. Doug, what is my outlook on Bitcoin over the next month or so? Doug, I'm actually starting to shift some exposure away from Bitcoin at the moment just because I think the opportunity is better in some of these deeper pullbacks on stocks where I think that we can literally point to their fundamentals and say they are definitely undervalued compared to averages. Versus right now, the big thing for Bitcoin, Doug, was we were supposed to get the strategic reserve where the US was supposed to start buying Bitcoin. We did get the strategic reserve, but it's not real clear that we're buying up Bitcoin like crazy just yet. Some of the states are starting to do it. We're going to need a big catalyst, someone to really put I don't even know the right terminology for this, but really make a stance and say we're going to start buying Bitcoin aggressively before that thing kicks off again, in my opinion. Right now, I see a lot of good opportunities in stocks, so that's why I'm shifting my exposure there at the moment. So the link there is in for Telegram is in the chat. I posted this yesterday. If you were in there, you would see the exact same chart that I just shared with you now. You would have gotten a day early. Um, let's go ahead and move into sector seasonality. Still in March. Bullish, bullish, bullish. If you guys have been attending this class, you know that these 3 months are the only 3 month, the 90-day period where every sector is green over the last, I always forget how many years. So since 1990, very, very bullish time across all sectors. Last week, I gave you the XLC, XLU were my favorite ones. Verizon took out XLC pretty bad. However, it is rebounding nicely, and it only fell 2 spots for us. Notable shifts, Bitcoin snapped back from its massive drawdown. It went down to 77, back to 81 now. Um, very volatile. But financials is back on top. Utilities still really good. Communications dropped a little bit, but in my opinion, still really good. Energy's a sneaky one, sneaking up here the list. Moved positive 4 spots here. And if you look here, energy has a very, very bullish next few months coming up. So that's a really interesting one that we're going to take a look at here in a moment. Sorry, let me see something real quick. So there was my picks last week. Some things are moving around, but I'm just going to stay the course, staying with utilities, communication. I really like financials. They're solid here. They've been the best sector for a while. The only reason I didn't highlight them is just because with the tariff news and everything, they've really been getting whipsawed. But energy is a new addition here. I'm really starting to like the energy stocks. I told you this back in January. Energy was the worst sector in January. And I said, but just wait, because come March, April, May, it might be our new favorite one. And now for the first time, I'm circling energy and saying, hey, let's keep an eye on some energy stocks here. They're looking really good. Have I taken a position in Amazon seasonality? I have. Amazon hasn't really moved for me yet. I'm not bullishly. It's gotten down slightly, Dan, but I have taken a position in Amazon for seasonality. Where can you find the sector chart? Or are you talking about this sector chart or this one? Both. All right. This one, you can find it here by taking a screenshot. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to take a screenshot. The next one, though, that other one with the rankings, I actually did a training last Tuesday on it. So you'll want to catch that recording. I also gave the codes for it. I built you guys scanners. You know what? I don't know if I covered that last Tuesday. I can't remember the last time I covered it. Did I cover the sector, how to set up the sector scan last week, guys? Or hopefully you got a screenshot of this. Did I cover this last week? Don't think so. Do you guys want me to cover how to set this up in Stock Fetcher? I've got one yes. All right, quite a few yeses. All right. We got one no next Tuesday. I'll just post this in the chat. If you guys have used Stock Fetcher, there's the code. I'm going to go over this really quick. Stock Fetcher, you'd create a filter. You'd post that code in there that I just posted in the chat. So here you can see some of our filters. Roger and I share this. So here's the one I just sent you. You'd paste it in here. You'd say fetch stocks. This is recorded, so you can go back and look at this. Click the table button, and then what you want to do is sort for average percent. And look, it's already moved today based off of today's movement. So that screenshot I just shared with you was yesterday. So Bitcoin's back down, and look at this. Energy is now the top dog as of today. Very interesting. So that screenshot I just shared with you guys was yesterday. Energy, who I just circled, is now the top one. Super cool. So sort for average percent, what this is going to give you is the 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month percentage change. And it'll just even it out, even weight them. So it, ideally, in theory, gives you the best trending sectors. So look at that. Really interesting. I'm actually glad we did this quick exercise here. You paste it in there, go to table, sort by average percentage, and you can see here XLE is now the top dog, which is hysterical given that in January it was the bottom one. It was the worst one in January, very bottom of the totem pole. And I told you in January to take a look at this chart, screenshot this chart because energy is going to be heating up here soon. Here we are. So here again, top and bottom picks for the week. Staying the course, adding energy to the list, who is now our top dog here based on today's movement. Thanks for sharing. No problem. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty here, and then we'll wrap up for the week. Apex top signal of the week. I've done this again and again and again. Why? Because it keeps winning, winning, winning. Progressive, new signal this week. New entry. It's up already huge from that entry. Profit target 305 on Progressive. Right now it's at 290. So that's about a $15 move from here. That's about a 5% gain on the stock. This is my biggest stock holding. It's been my biggest stock holding for a while. I just love this company. Actually, if you look at, everyone loves Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett owns Geico. Some of his biggest holding are insurance companies. Insurance stocks rock. They are amazing. Over the last 30 years, they've averaged 12 to 13, or 12 to 14%, depending on the stock. They are absolute monsters. They love to be great during recessions too. So I love, love, love insurance stocks. So does Warren Buffett. Progressive right now is a great entry for the Apex signal. So if you want to trade options, go a little bit longer out. Or you could do weekly wrap orders. Both are good. Jim, PGR is good. It's not affected by tariffs. Exactly, Jim. It's also a financial in the financial sector. I also consider it a staple. So it's very, very strong right now. It's actually at all-time highs yesterday. It went in beast mode yesterday. It's pulled back a little bit, 0.4% today. Market's down 1%. Not much of a pullback, in my opinion. This looks really, really great right now. Another really good one. Let's look at this. Oh, I just love AJG. Oh, did not mean to do that. Here we go. AJG, another great insurance stock. Something interesting about this stock that Progressive doesn't really do is this stock just randomly falls out of the sky, but then it almost always goes right back up. Falls out of the sky, right back up. Falls out of the sky. A little drift higher here. Look at that. That was during the California wildfires, and it's rocketed since. And it had this random dump the other day, which it so often does, and it looks like it's moving higher now. So AJG, okay, so Keith is saying George Soros is a major stockholder in Progressive. I looked this up and I cannot find anything on it. Does George Soros own Progressive? So look, if you look at I think it's a different thing because if you Google, just Google this. Does George Soros own Progressive? Everything says he is a progressive, but he has a foundation called the Progressive Alliance that has nothing to do with the company Progressive Insurance. That's what Google says. But I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it says. With that said, the stock's been great. It's my top holding right now. It's averaged 12 to 14% a year over the last 30 years. So is AJG. What is Allstate has been a good one too. I would say Geico, but if you're going to trade Geico, you might as well just trade Berkshire because Warren Buffett owns Geico. But right now, Progressive, Loving it, loving it, loving it. Let's see. Let me see what people are saying here. George Soros does not own Progressive Insurance outright, but he does has been involved with the company through his investment firm, held shares in Progressive in the past. As of now, there's no indication that Soros personally owns a controlling stake in Progressive. Thank you, East Road. Keith, I Googled it and it says he has a foundation called Progressive Alliance, but it's not Progressive Insurance. So very, very similar names, both called Progressive, but two different things, Keith. So that may be where you've heard it before. If I were to trade Progressive right now, let's see what the weekly volume, not great weekly volume, but let's see, this pricing isn't going to be great probably, but let me see what this is. I'd probably do, because this should be, I mean, I would set a limit order. I would go to next Friday's expiration. You can do this one if you want to. It's just a little bit riskier. But I would look for next Friday's expiration, 28th of March, and I would just do a wrap order right now. Current price is right around 290. So I'd look to buy 287.5 and sell 292.5. Current price is 250 debit. That's not the current price. The mid price right now is 275. Given that the price is right here at 290, I don't think that's a fair deal. So I would try and set an offer 250 and see if it fills. If you wanted to do just basic call options, probably go out to May. They're going to be a lot more expensive, but I would say one strike out of the money, which would put you at the 295 call. Just set a limit order because this is a wider bid ask spread. It is $1,000. That's why I like trading the wrap orders. You can see I currently have one on that's way in the money now, expiring this Friday. But at this point, you could trade this Friday's expiration. Let's see what the price is. That's a pretty good price. You're basically betting that Progressive gains 1% this week to get a little bit over 100%. So let's see if this will fill for me. The thing about some of these insurance stocks is their options are a little less liquid. AJG, I mean, you can probably get filled. But that's what I would do if I wanted to trade it either this week or next week's expiration. But again, the options don't have a ton of volume at the moment, so you just have to let them sit. Let's see what the monthlies, even the monthlies don't have a ton of volume. If you want to trade basic calls, go to 16 May. And I would do one strike on the money, so 295. And you'd want to pay the mid price here, set a limit, be about $1,000 for a contract. Could you do a spread out till May? Dan, you could do a spread out till May, and that's not a bad idea either. Basically, puts more time on your side. Let's see. So here you go. Dan, you could do the 290 call, sell the 295 call. That gives you about 2 months for Progressive to gain about 2%, which obviously is not out of the equation for this stock. Let me just show you on a chart. That would mean by May 16th, Progressive would be above where my crosshairs are here. So really not much of a move for this stock over the next 2 months. And if you're right, you make 100% return on investment. As a matter of fact, does anyone want me to type up this trade for you guys? I told my publisher that I wouldn't be giving out free trades here anymore. So I guess he's going to have to slap my hand after this. I love Progressive. I would be looking to, sorry, I'm just typing this up right now. We're going to do the 16th of May. I'm going to buy the 290 call. I'm going to sell the 295 call. I'm gonna set a limit order. I'm gonna set a limit order and net debit at 250. But if it's gonna fill lower, go for that. What this means, here it comes in the chat. Everyone ready for it? There you go. What this means, let's say I get filled at 250. It's at 255 now. What this means is if Progressive closes above 295 in 2 months, so 289.30 right now. So if it gains about 1.9% from here over the next 2 months, we will make 100% return on investment. How do I know it's 100%? Because we're paying 250. The max value of this spread is $5 because 295 minus 290 is 5. So if I pay 250, I sell it for 5. That's 100% return on investment. If Progressive, a very strong, great stock right now, gains about 2% over the next 2 months. Mid price is 260. I'm going to set it at 250. Get a couple of those. See if we get filled. Problem with May is if Progressive moves up very fast, option value will not increase much, and we can't do anything about it. In this case, what's the best way? If you're worried about that, just trade the basic calls. Just buy calls; they'll move a lot faster, and you can sell it. Um, you can sell it whenever, and it'll move faster. With that said, time decay is not going to be on your side, which is why I don't love it. Let's keep it moving. Fortinet is our top seasonal pick of this week. Last week I gave you Amazon. This week it's Fortinet. I love this stock. We've traded it before. We've had a lot of fun with Fortinet. We did trade the earnings, and it did beat its earnings on February. But remember that? Oh, that was so frustrating. It shot up like 10% and then faded going into the open. Still closed higher for the day, but my call options lost money, which is why I love the spreads. But right now, Fortinet looks really good. Getting a normal market correction day today. Do you guys want to trade options on Fortinet too for fun while I'm at it? Stacy got out of Fortinet with a profit. Stacy, you're awesome. Thank you, Roberto. Here's a question. Should I tell the publisher that I want to keep doing these sessions? I want to keep giving trades out? That's the real question. I like giving trades. I like giving value. And like I told you guys, other than that correction we saw recently, I've been making like $2,000 a week trading with you guys. They took that away from me. He owes me. Kay says yes. Keith says yes. Stacy, yes. R, yes. And that's new and still learn to love it. Listen to Roger. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, lots of yeses. We'll do Fortinet. So for Fortinet, it's a 19-day hold time from the 17th, so from yesterday. So 18 days from today. So let me go ahead and pull up Fortinet. If we were to go 18 days, oh, someone help me with the math. That puts us at 10, 17. So 4th of April. Oh, not tons of volume. How is Fortinet so low on volume right now? Trading volume has to be down. Let's see what this says. That's not the worst. All right, so Fortinet, if I'm looking at this from a seasonal perspective, also it's a great stock. It's been trending higher. You know, it's had the same correction that everybody else had, but seasonally it's a huge return, 6%. So we're here at $95, we'll call it. 6% from there is about, would take us a little over $100 over 19-day hold time. So if I wanted to get really aggressive, what I would do is go April 4th expiration, which I'm going to do this, by the way. See if I get filled. This is not that wide, so it might work. Let me type this up for you guys. Fortinet, I'm going to go 4th of April expiration. If you want more time, you can do that. I'm going to buy the 99 call, and I'm going to sell the 100 call. That means if it seasonally gains about $5 from here, which is about 6%. So if the seasonality is correct, we should make a good return on the investment here. East Road, more volume on the monthlies. Right. That is right. So I posted this in the chat. You guys can take this trade, but let me walk you through the profitability for it. So this is a little bit more aggressive. Typically, when I do wrap orders, I do them at the money. I like to pay about half of the price of the entry, or half the price of the spread. Oops, I selected way too many things there. So if I wanted to be safer, if I wanted to do a wrap order, this is what you do. You'd buy the 95. I'll give you this too. You'd sell the 97, call, and this is currently trading at $1, we'll call it, which is a 1-to-1 risk to reward. If Fortinet gains about $1 from here, a little over $1, you double your money. The other one I gave you is further out of the money, a little bit riskier, but a little bit better reward if we're right. So we're paying 31 cents. We're paying 31 cents. The max sale point is $1. So if the seasonality is right and you take this one, you instead of making 100% return on investment, you're making 222%. So a little better than twice the return. Now you do need a bigger move, right? That's the risk. You need a bigger move. But if we line it up with seasonality, if we get this the markets to resume this bullish trend or at least retrace about half the way to all-time highs, this should happen. Let me pull up a chart and show you why this is not such a crazy trade here. So we need it to be at 100 by 4-4. So do you see where my crosshairs are? If Fortinet is above where my crosshairs are by that date, and you do these options I just gave you, you make about 220% return on investment. Pretty good, right? If you're wrong, you're going to lose money, obviously. But look, with this big pullback, it's not like we needed to go all the way up here to make 200%. We need to add 100 by 4-4. Right there where my crosshairs are to make 200%. So I'm going to punch this one in. Price has moved a little bit. Let me just set a 32. Has anyone been filled on this one yet? I'm just curious what the volume's like. If you wanted to do wrap, you wanted to play safer, yes, 95 and 97. Currently trading at $1. Punch that one in. That one filled right away. In this instance, you would just need Fortinet above 97 by 4-4. So barely even a move from here. You double your money. The other one, you need it up here to make about 200%, although it is not filling at the moment. Let me see if I punch up to 34. 34 filled right away. So at 34-cent entry on Fortinet, that'll be $1 divided by 34 minus 1, 194% return on investment. So I'm going to let my other one sit at 32 cents here, though, to see if I'll take a couple extra fills. But that's how I would trade Fortinet. Any questions here? Do I need to go back and cover anything here on what I just talked about? No, I got 2 more bonus picks for you. And then a little special presentation. Yes, Keith, I did do April 4th. I don't know if I clarified that yet. All right, no questions. Newton momentum picks. I'll just give you these real quick and let you do whatever you want with them. WMB is one that turned green today. This is an energy stock. So remember, we just saw energy is bullish for the next 3 months seasonally. We just saw it climbing in the ranks. It just hit #1 on the charts today for the strongest sector out there. WMB is a really strong stock. Look at this. Like I said, energy was a terrible sector for us for a while. It was the one that I said, let's avoid or let's short. This stock had been bucking the trend, even with energy going lower. And look at it now turning bullish again. So WMB is the ticker here. And as a bonus, oh, I just got filled no, Progressive just filled for $1.10. So I got filled on Progressive at a $1.10. Another bonus Newton pick for you is Exelon Corp. I've never traded this one. Ticker's EXC, but this is a utility stock. Utilities have been very, very steady for us. They're one of our top, like I said, sticking with the utilities here. It's one of the best sectors right now. This is a great stock in the utility sector. Love it, love it, love it. So it looks like a good entry today for you guys. Mark, I posted a new Newton training actually in the members portal. So if you haven't seen it since January, Mark, go to the members portal. It should be in there. Okay, what was the progressive trade for 110? Let me go back and tell you, because honestly, I've been talking so much I can't even remember. Progressive trade for 110 was here. Nope, that's not it. Where was the progressive trade for 110? That was the weekly options. Oh, I see. So this was the progressive trade for 110, buying the 290, selling the 292.5. The reason it probably filled for 110 was because progressive is just now taking a little bit of a fall from here. Um, let's see what this is priced at now. So if you haven't gotten filled on that one and you want to wrap this week, probably go down a strike, get a better fill than me, or at least better strikes than me, better likelihood of working out, and it's pretty close to 1-to-1 risk to reward right now. So yeah, there was another one for 250 here. This is the one that I have at 250 was the 28 March expiration and 16 May expiration that we tried. But I put on a few. So the 110 one was this week's. And it's currently one strike out of the money. So it's a 290 and 292.5. With that said, it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to speak to the publisher this week and say, hey, the people want the trades. I like the trades. It's more fun with the trades. I think we can all agree. Does anyone think it's not more fun with the trades? No. Roberto says, like drug dealers from South Central LA, the first one's always free. Then we're hooked. Wow. That's good. Good. Awesome. Notes for Zoom meetings. If the chat is disabled by the host, you may not be able to copy and paste in the chat box. Huh. Thank you guys. So now Deanna's gonna pull up a presentation that I did with Nate almost a year ago now. It's a cool way as we're seeing this volume coming back into the market, we're seeing this buying coming back into the market. It's a cool little way to try to time up stocks that are going to go up for multiple days in a row for overnight moves. So this is, we talked about fade trading the other week. This is the alternative to that where we're looking for just a breakout move. So multiple days higher. Actually, we're what it really is, guys, is I'm looking for a fade. I'm looking for one day of that flip back. So like what we saw on Friday, the S&P went higher after multiple down days, went big higher for one day. I would be buying there and looking to trade it through Monday for just an extension off that breakout. So that's what Deanna's going to play with that recording from that class with Nate for you here. So if you want to see how to trade some of these short dated moves, hopefully timing up this volume and buying coming back in the market, that's what she's going to show you now. I just got filled on 4 more progressive spreads. That is the May expiration I just got filled on as well. Just to have, oh, Fortinet filled too. Everything's filling right now. Thank you guys all. Stay tuned. Deanna's going to play that for you. And I will see you guys on Thursday. And I'm going to talk to the publisher and get these live trades rolling again. Thank you all.
Right. Beautiful. I guess we
Deanna, you're good to get that rolling, right?
Actually say something that's in the presentation instead of just blabbering on about the markets and everything else. So let's jump in. Of course, we've got the mandatory disclosure. Hopefully this is stuff you guys all already know. We've got some testimonials here that we're going to talk about from some of the best feedback we've gotten. Obviously, the profits and performance shown are not typical to any individual subscriber. No future earnings claims. We can't guarantee what's going to happen in the markets.
I'm just seeing a black screen at the moment. Not sure about you guys.
We're going to talk about I get really pumped up for something like today because we're not talking about theory. Yes, there's some testing, there's some historic data we're going to go through, but we're talking about someone who's proven this out and then shared it with the with the public in a few samples. But most importantly, he's putting his own money on the line. So when you hear him say, "Hey, I like XYZ trade," it's not again just looking at a chart and talking about it as an analyst. It's talking about it as a real trader, and so that's what gets me really fired up. And well, I won't spoil it too much because you'll see some of the feedback he's already gotten. It's outrageous. I mean, it's real deal. kind of live account, money where your mouth is type of performance that we're talking about. And in a market like we're seeing right now, which if you guys have read my newsletter, I've said it's kind of a crazed market. It's cautiously optimistic, but there's some shaky things underneath. Doesn't make sense. What's happening right now is huge inflows of capital and money into something for a day or two and then bailing out and going to another day. It's almost like Graham wrote the script for the last couple of weeks of market trading for what these moonshots are, because they're literally built to do those 24-hour capital injections. So well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We didn't even start the presentation. I'm already getting fired up. So
Absolutely. And Graham, I don't know. I think Nathan's on the fence about this. What do you think?
I don't know. Raleigh, I would probably say, yeah, he'd probably be interested to hear more about it before making a decision. But I have to admit, I gave him access to my system on Thursday of last week.
Oh, man.
And what'd you hit, Nate? 100, 200% on Starbucks, something in there?
160% on Starbucks, a little bit of money on Moderna as well.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm one of I'm one of these guys who already got a little taste and is pumped up. So
outstanding. Well, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to fade into the background, make sure that you guys have the complete floor here. I'll keep an eye on the chat panel, and I'll rejoin you during Q&A. So, guys, take it away.
All right, beautiful. I guess we got to move on here and actually say something that's in the presentation instead of just blabbering on about the markets and everything else. So let's jump in. Of course, we've got the mandatory disclosure. Hopefully, this is stuff you guys all already know. We've got some testimonials here that we're going to talk about from some of the best feedback we've gotten. Obviously, the profits and performance shown are not typical to any individual subscriber. No future earnings claims. We can't guarantee what's going to happen in the markets. All systems have wins and losses. Now, we're going to talk about
Let's see. Did Nathan freeze up on us,
me?
I think?
Oh, sorry.
There he is.
Am I there?
Yep, you're back
Yes.
now. I thought it was me for a second. It's storming out here in
Oh,
Jacksonville.
okay.
Well,
Well, hopefully it's not me, but maybe it is. Sorry, guys. We're talking about trades from the last year with a pretty shocking 74.4% win rate. When you're talking about moonshot trades, that's an insane win rate with an average winner of 76%. And my favorite part, the average hold time there of 24 hours. Again, we can't guarantee the future. Obviously, we can't guarantee against losses. That's just trading. But if that somehow is a surprise to you, number one, you might want to leave now. But number two, you can go through our full terms there on the Prosperity Pub homepage for more information. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nate Tucci. Thanks for being here. And while everyone else has had their eyes on the Fed or the upcoming election, certainly, or economic data, almost no one is still talking about what Wall Street's been up to and what they're doing behind the scenes, moving money as fast as they can just before the closing bell each day. Now, they're opening the doors for anyone who knows what they're doing to get gains like 28%, 51%, even 107%. And it's not in a year. We're not talking about in a month. We're talking about in 24 hours. Now, I'm being completely literal when I say 24 hours, not a minute more, not a minute less, 24 hours on the dot. Now, for example, look at what the research showed on Wells Fargo. That's WFC, one of the banking stocks that's been brutalized. Unlike most stocks, which have been going higher and higher and higher, like we just talked about, back in April, Wells Fargo fell pretty flat on the earnings and then was stuck in the mud for weeks at a time. Obviously, not a stock that most people want to touch, a pretty clear red flag on the missed earnings. But anyone who knew about the 24-hour secret could have placed a quick trade before the close and then just walked away. Now, maybe that means you're enjoying dinner or sleeping in the next morning, whatever you want to do, because sure enough, 24 hours later, Wells Fargo was up 85%, turning $1,000 into $1,855 in exactly 24 hours. That's an 85% moonshot. And this 24-hour secret that today's special guest and my good friend is going to expose is all thanks to a little-known phenomenon where a tidal wave of investment capital is poured into a stock in the last hour of the day. And it's created these precise overnight opportunities to target double-digit and even triple-digit gains time and time again. For example, look at what happened just one day after that 85% move we got on Wells Fargo. This one was on CleanSpark. That's CLSK. Now, if you're not familiar with CleanSpark, well, I don't blame you. It's actually been a pretty crappy stock, traded nearly 50% since the end of March. But on April 19th, again, just one day after Wells Fargo, we got capital pouring in faster than water coming off the cliffs of Niagara Falls. And that meant one thing. The moonshot was getting started on CLSK. So folks could have placed that trade, right from your phone at the end of the day, then powered down for the next 24 hours. Maybe you went fishing for the evening, grab breakfast at your favorite spot. For my kids, that's Eaton Park. Very exciting. And again, 24 hours later, you would be looking at a moonshot. $2,000 could have turned into $4,086 on CLSK. Now, that's north of $2,000 in profit, essentially happening overnight, which is a meaningful chunk of change for most people, especially right now when a lot of folks are struggling to get by. You've heard me talk about this repeatedly lately. The average savings account hit the lowest levels since 2008. MarketWatch reported that it's basically Great Recession levels on personal savings, all while some of the hardest working people are getting the worst of the recent inflation. There you see that cost of living continuing to rise like we've all grown accustomed to. Now, whether you have $1 million in your account or just a few $1,000s, young or old, doesn't really matter. What today's guest is about to share with you could finally be a way to get ahead, okay? Because according to him, what Wall Street is doing, the way that they're investing is completely changing, moving almost all of their biggest transactions to a certain hour of the day. And while they've kept their secret buried for months, even years now, today, my special guest is pulling back the curtain on everything, sharing exactly how folks like you could legally front run these overnight moonshots. And then you can actually spend your time doing what you want to do instead of panicking and watching a chart, and close out the positions exactly 24 hours later, just like we've seen time and time again. I've already shown you two of those examples on CleanSpark and Wells Fargo. Now, if that perks your ears up, then stick around, because by the end of today, my guest is handing you the keys to the kingdom, including the chance to get your hands on a password-protected copy of the code, the same code that I used to find that Starbucks trade, and target those moonshots day after day. Plus, he's going to give you a little surprise, a little chance here to grab an $1,120 surprise for anyone who sticks on. So welcome to Moonshots by Graham Lindman. Again, my name's Nate Tucci, for those of you not familiar with me, but I'm not really who matters today. Today, you get to meet one of the fastest up-and-coming traders. Not only has he banked some of his best personal profits by leveraging these moonshots, there you see just a couple of them. That doesn't even include the handful we got today. He's also shared a few of these moonshots with his top students in the past, like Richard, who wrote in to say he's up 97% in day one. Again, guys, these are real trades, real things that Graham called in advance. Alan, who said he was very successful in that CLSK trade and profited $800 on the overnight move. And then we had Ron, who said he had two home run trades, each one over 200%. Pretty darn good for a 24-hour trade. Now, today, he's doing something he thought he would never do. He's going to pull back the curtain on exactly what Wall Street is up to and how they're operating in this market and this economy, and how they're able to bury some of the most significant buy signals each and every day. Plus, like I said, this system built on 413 characters of code that have been able to pick up those moonshot opportunities in real time with a stunning 74.4% accuracy rate from the back test. Now, today, you can get your hands on this code if you'd like, plus unlock the chance to trade the very next moonshot targeting double and even triple digit moves overnight. So everyone, give a warm welcome to my special guest and my very good friend as well. I think special guest underplays it. Graham Lindman is here, and he's been dialing in these moonshots. It's got to be pretty exciting to finally get to talk to openly about this, Graham.
It definitely is. And I've been able to test this out for a while now with the Diamond members. If you're a Diamond member, shout out to you. But man, we brought this to you guys early. We were going to hold this off on the sidelines for another couple of months and continue the testing. But with the market making all-time highs, these big overnight moves happening, we had to get it out now. So again, thanks, Nate, for that kind introduction. Now, guys, before we get going, I want to clear the air personally. You guys know there's never anything guaranteed in the markets. Winners and losers are part of the game. So if you can't afford a loss, then you should not be playing. Now, that said, what I'm about to share with you today could radically change how you look at the markets and hopefully how you use your free time Two, because while most people spend countless hours scouring charts or researching until their eyes bleed, maybe wondering what the Fed might do next, or the elections, or the inflation and all the data, or constantly worrying about when the markets might take another tumble, well, we've been able to skip all of that madness and tap into what I believe is one of the most repetitive phenomenon in the stock market. Now, I call this phenomenon a cash infusion. And nearly every single day, just before the markets close, Wall Street will push millions, sometimes even billions of dollars in capital into very specific stocks. And when that much money hits a stock over a short time period, well, we've watched as some of those stocks can go racing higher and higher overnight. Like today, perfect example on APH, 115% right now on the options. Now, anyone who can spot these cash infusions can quickly place a trade to leverage this phenomenon and then walk away from the computer for the next 24 hours. Maybe spend some time with the family, go for a walk, go get dinner, whatever it is. And then hopefully come back to what could be a really great move, just like what happened with AMD. Now, at the time, this stock was definitely not looking like a good buy. While most of chip stocks, NVIDIA, SMCI, and all the favorite ones were soaring to fresh highs day after day, well, back in February, this stock was heading lower. Not a pretty chart. But on February 13th, 2024, just before the markets closed, well, there was a $241 million cash infusion that hit the stock in the last hour of the day. Now, to the naked eye, it would have been nearly impossible to spot, as tens of thousands of shares of AMD stock traded over the course of just a few minutes. But sure enough, AMD stock began running like a bandit out of a bank robbery. And exactly 24 hours later, look what happened here, 79% on the options overnight. Pretty good, but we're not done just yet, because on that same afternoon, there was actually another cash infusion in the last hour of the day. This one was on GE, one of my favorite stocks. Now, this cash infusion, it wasn't $10 million, it wasn't just $50 million, but a whopping $162 exchanging hands just before the close. And like clockwork, the very next trading day, had you have followed along, that would have been a 180% moonshot overnight.
Wow. So basically 1K into each of those last two that you showed us would have been $4,597 in 24 hours. You're going to hear me say in 24 hours a lot today, because that's the coolest thing ever. Now, listen, I can't think of a time in recent history where it's been harder to get ahead financially, with rampant inflation driving our monthly bills to all-time highs. You've heard me talk about that a lot, and everyday folks paying more and more for everyday items. Now, even folks who were given a $5,000 or $10,000 raise last year still ended up with short stick. And I'm guessing, I mean, you can tell me in the chat, I'm guessing most people didn't get a $10,000 raise last year if I was betting. But the cost of living in some states was up $13,460. So if you got that raise, you're still behind in some cases, which is insane. But here's the sad thing about inflation. I think what most people don't want to say out loud is this part. Once prices go up, guys, they're not coming back down. Price just normalized at that new higher price. It's been like that for 100 years. And that's why millions of people, young and old, have been forced to delay their retirement. This one says 40% of people are going back into the workforce. I mean, that's some of the people from our greatest generations having to be forced back because of this insane inflation. And credit card debt keeps soaring to all-time highs, with late payments on the rise as well. 1.13 trillion in credit card debt. But having a shot to turn your stake into $4,597 overnight from two trades that hit on the same day, well, that would be a big difference, a big relief for people who are struggling to get a couple hundred extra bucks.
That's right, Nate. And I'm hoping that these moonshot trades will be a big stress reliever for hundreds of people out there. Now, we've already seen the damage caused by just 1 year of inflation. And now the Fed is reporting that inflation could actually be worse than they thought. You guys have heard the term higher for longer for months now. Some people say that's rates, but I'm starting to think maybe that means inflation is going to stay higher for longer. Now, let's face it, there's really not much faith in the economy right now. But with these cash infusions hitting stocks at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what the broad market or the politicians do next. You see, the beautiful thing is we're able to leverage these cash infusions targeting 24-hour moonshots, and that means we aren't exposed to the stock market for months, weeks, or even days on end. So even if we're in a downturn, our money isn't stuck in the markets. We're just one day in, and then we're out of the market and back to cash. Sweet, safe, reliable cash. And if it all works out, we could watch as our $1,000 stake pays out 500, 800, sometimes even more by the time we wake up. Just like what the study showed with United Airlines. Now, if this stock wasn't on your radar, again, not a good one. No one would want to own this one. Not only was it nowhere near its all-time highs back in April, but investors in this stock were down 32%
Wow.
since 2021. So you would have held it for 3 years and just watched it lose money for you year after year. And that's definitely not a great stock to own. But thanks to the $474 million cash infusion that hit in the last hour of the trading day on April 17th, folks could have made back all of the stock's losses and then some in just 24 hours, as the options skyrocketed overnight 111%.
So, Graham, making back all the losses for the entire 3 years, that chart you just showed us, in one overnight trade is definitely something that would make a big difference for most people. And keep in mind, we're not day trading here. We're not looking at it for 24 hours glued to the monitor. These are overnight moves. Okay, so $1,000 could have been $2,101 overnight, 111% moonshot on UAL without actually, mapping out and watching that trade all day long. And this is what I love. So I'm gonna brag on Graham here some, because you hear gains like, oh, $1,000, $2,000 overnight, but that's really not out of reach considering what a lot of your students have already reported on various work so far. So let's talk about some of these, because these are pretty awesome. We had Jim, who said that so far he's made over $5,000 using one of your strategies. Thank you. Pretty awesome from Jim. Then we had Howard, who said he was up $4,000 after just 3 trades. Okay. And it takes a few minutes, like you said, a few minutes to get back into cash and put some of that money aside. Real profits there from Howard B. And then we had Robinson, who said he keeps hitting it out of the park. He made $5,360 on BITO. Thank you, Graham. So again, we're talking about $1,000 or $2,000. Here's a whole bunch of people who are saying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 that they're making following some of your trade. Now, Graham's probably going to shock you as you watch this presentation with how he's been able to supercharge the upside on these 24-hour trades. But don't want to get ahead of myself. First, you got to give us more details. Tell us what these cash infusions are and how folks at home can actually start taking advantage of them today.
Well, Nate, it's really straightforward, to be honest, but you just have to know where to look. So if you guys have struggled in the bear market or even now in the bull market, I mean, the stock market's at all-time highs. Hopefully your account is too, but if you've ever struggled, that's okay. I just want you to know it's probably not because you're a bad trader. You're probably just looking at the wrong place at the wrong time. So let's take a look at this, guys. This is a report from the Wall Street Journal. Now, what you're looking at is the average volume of stocks traded during each hour of the day. So as you can see, this is the opening auction here at the market open. There's a fair amount of money moving here at the 9:30 opening bell, but hardly anything during the day. So when we're trading stocks during the day, a lot of times there's not a lot of conviction there. But in that last hour of the trading day, that's when these massive cash infusions come flying in. It blows every other hour out of the water. Now, you see, it's in the final hour of the day that Wall Street will dump millions of dollars, sometimes even billions, into certain stocks. And it's these cash infusions just before the close that can tip off these 24-hour moves day after day, like what happened with ExxonMobil. March 27th, petering around all day, not much to write about, but right on time in the last hour of the day, there you see it, $262 million goes into the stock. And just like the Wall Street Journal reported, let's look at how many transactions were flooding in the door at the end of the day. So here's the volume on March 27th. There's the opening auction, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, 12, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., pretty normal, right? But look at this right here in the last hour of the day. That's where the $262 million came flying in. And folks who knew about this cash infusion in the last hour of the day could have placed a quick trade to follow along. Sure enough, exactly 24 hours later, look at this, a 77% moonshot overnight. $1,000 could have turned into 1,773 by the time, closed out the very next day. Now, every day, billions of dollars are flooding in and out of individual stocks. And when you have even just a fraction of that money hit a single stock, well, that cash infusion can become a market moving force, sending the stock exploding higher over the next 24 hours, just like with Generac, ticker GNRC, back in February. Now, over the last few years, this stock had fallen from $525 back during the COVID when everything went crazy, and the stock market all the way down to $100. Not good, right? But in February, there wasn't much to write home as it hadn't gained a penny in nearly 18 months. But then out of nowhere, February 6th, money came piling in at the end of the day. And here we had a $16.7 million cash infusion. And when we take a look at the trading volume, same exact story here, guys. There he goes. Generac, 9 a.m., not much. 10 a.m., 11, 12, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And then look at this at the end of the day. It's sticking out like a sore thumb, and that blows out every other hour of the trading day by double, even triple the amount of transactions. They are piling in here as the door's closing. And anyone who traded alongside this $16 million cash infusion, they could have seen 104% overnight. $1,000 turned into $2,048.
Yeah, Graham, between those two trades alone, that would have been a shot to nearly triple an investment. It's not exactly like Exxon is known for moonshots either. And instead of spending your time worrying about what bank might fail next, as we've grown too much accustomed to, you could have actually been out making memories like you and Carly have been able to, doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. Although I got to tell you, your memories are going to be different now with the baby on the way. A whole different kind of set of memories. But I absolutely love the idea behind this strategy. I mean, they seem so predictable with those, big old sticking out like a sore thumb. Can you even lose on one of these cash infusions?
Right. And Nate, you know the answer. Of course you can, guys. No strategy wins all of the time. I have losing days too, good days, bad days, all of the in between. Now, my goal is to do everything in my power to help limit losses. After all, guys, who wants to place losing trades? And with a risk cutting trick that I'm going to share with you guys today, we've been able to hone in on the trades with the best odds of working out, with success rates as high as 74%. The winners nearly twice as big as the losers, according to the research. And actually, the live trades, which I'll show you guys here in a bit, have been even better. The winners are about 3 times the size of the losers, and we're hitting 80% win rates. Now, it's all thanks to these massive cash infusions hitting in the last hour of the day, and that kickstarts these 24-hour moonshots. You see, here's what's really important, guys. When the first cash infusion hits a stock, it's normally accompanied by even more money piling in over the next 24 to 48, sometimes even 72 hours. That's because Wall Street is notorious for piling into investments when they catch wind of a competitor jumping in on a stock. You've probably heard of this term before, the herd instinct. You see, if Morgan Stanley starts placing massive buy orders on, let's say, Apple at the end of the day, well, then BlackRock might get tipped off and pile in as well. And then JP Morgan hears that BlackRock bought, so they're jumping in. Everybody's chasing after each other. Goldman Sachs is next, and on and on and on. You see, so everyone is looking for some sort of unfair advantage. Now, you guys can speculate that maybe Wall Street has access to private information and privileged intel that folks like you and me will never have until it's too late. But to me, frankly, guys, it doesn't matter to me if they're cheating the system altogether. Because when the herd all jumps in at the same time, their money can pool into one big cash infusion. And that builds up pent-up demand for the next day and ultimately sending the stock soaring, just like what happened with Nike back on December 1st. While most traders were getting ready to call it quits that day, a $174 million cash infusion hit Nike stock in the last hour of the day. And there you can see the herd instinct. Again, let's take a look at the volume on December 1st on Nike. It's not even close. Now, folks just needed to place a quick trade before the markets closed and then maybe gone for a hike like my wife and I love to do and come back the next day. In this case, things worked out, a 93% overnight moonshot. That's when it was over the weekend, but still 24 market hours. Now, here's where things get really shocking. You see, most investors think that the buying will end right at that closing bell. 4 p.m., day's over, everyone goes home. Mm-hmm. But thanks to special privileges and perks that many retail investors like you and I don't have access to, Wall Street's actually able to continue buying even after the markets are closed for the day. Have you ever wondered why, when you wake up in the morning and open your phone, a stock jumped overnight? How does it jump overnight? Well, Wall Street continues to buy. And it's this aftermarket buying that can keep pushing the price higher all night long and into the next day. That means folks who get in just before the market close, well, you can legally front run these 24-hour moves nearly every single day. Let's look at PDD, for example. Love trading this stock. April 22nd. In the last hour of the day, north of $142 million moved through the stock. That was, again, a big old cash infusion there. You see it like I've been showing you all day. But here's where it gets crazy. After the markets closed, after you and I had logged off for the day, another 186 million poured in the overnight market. Now that set up PDD for an incredible 24-hour move. And let's just watch as the stock soared into the next day. There's an 81% moonshot on PDD options. 1,500 could have turned into $2,721 overnight. It was the same story with Applied Materials. AMAT is the ticker. February 21st. Shown you guys this a couple times now. Closing bell, big volume. But here is what's shocking in the aftermarket. Another $221 million hit the stock. And that set up the stock to soar higher and higher over the next 24 hours. This one was a whopper, 177% on the moonshot. 2,000 in here could have turned into $5,550 overnight. And you just need to know which stocks to get it on before the markets close for the day. And that's exactly what my system is designed to do.
Yeah, Graham, I've seen the lengths Wall Street goes through to cover those exact kind of moves you're talking about, whether it's dark pools, call sweeps, block orders, those things we call iceberg orders, kind of hiding below the surface. Now, for the average person, those are really, really hard to keep tabs on. But I have to imagine it's exactly those kind of maneuvers that are driving those big 24-hour moves. So you have to fill us in. How is your system able to pick up on that action in real time?
Well, as you know, Nate, I've been testing systems for nearly a decade now, and I've teamed up with multiple former hedge fund managers, banking vice presidents, options experts, true market engineers, all sorts of really, really smart guys. And I'm proud to say I've delivered over and over again, including designing one system that produced a 353% return on investment over 4 years on live trade alerts. That wasn't a back test, that was real trades. And then another strategy that's currently hitting a 92.8% accuracy on live trade alerts since the beginning of this year in 2024. And then there's my seasonal system that our third party auditor reported is on pace for an absurd 3,109% return this year. Now, that's out of this world. I wouldn't be shocked if it comes down, but even if it was half of that, I mean, I think everyone would take that.
Yeah, I think even a tenth of that most people would take that. Yeah, and I mean, if there's one thing that folks know about you by now, it's that you're a machine at building winning machines. So tell us, how does this machine work?
Well, first, let me be clear with you guys. Nothing I've ever done was trickier than trying to isolate these moonshots, while maintaining an incredibly high accuracy rate at the same time. That's because you can't just look at the transactions and the volume, because by the time you got the confirmed data, it would be way too late. Remember, guys, these are going right into the last second of the 4 p.m. bell. You can't place a trade right after that. You'd be too late. So we tested hundreds of factors, including relative strength, velocity, price performance, volume change, a whole bunch of different stuff. Maybe most importantly, the best risk to reward scenarios based on the holding time. Now, our goal was clear. We wanted to find the stocks that the herd is targeting for the next overnight move. And after months of trying to perfect it, I truly believe that we nailed it. Now, here's what the system looks like. Obviously, you can't really see it because I blurred out the code, but it's constantly running, filtering through over 2,500 stocks. Now, you might be shocked, but there's only 413 lines of code running in the system, but it takes into account all sorts of variables. And whenever it lights up on a stock in the last hour of the day, that means cash is starting to pour in. You can hit a few buttons to place a trade on the moonshot opportunity. Just like what would have happened with JP Morgan, ticker JPM, January 24th, stock was barely moving. But right in the last hour of the day, the system picked up on the moonshot trade. There you see it, Wednesday, January 24th, JPM up for the moonshot. Now, anyone could have traded this by hitting a few buttons on the phone and then maybe played a round of golf with the guys for the evening. Nate, that looks like something you might be doing.
Exactly.
And sure enough, the buying carried on all night long, north of $430 million in total. And exactly 24 hours later, again, nearly a double, 97% overnight on this moonshot. Now, believe me, guys.
I mean, that's another one that shouldn't be known for moonshots. JPM, most people aren't making 100% on JPM.
Yeah, that's right. Now, believe me, guys, in all of my years of trading, I've never seen anything quite like this. It doesn't matter where you live or who you have a brokerage account with or how much experience you have in the markets. You just have to be able to find these moonshots. And luckily, my system is built to pick them up day after day, just like with WDC, March 25th. Again, there you see it, Monday, March 25th, lit up right there in the system. Now, it would have only taken a few minutes to place the trades, again, before the markets closed, and then go and spend your evening away from the computer screen, whatever it is you like to do. That's dirt biking. There was me with the Lombardi Trophy, go Colts, and a Tough Mudder there, whatever it is you guys like to do. But as expected, money poured in all night long, $127 million cash infusion here, and that set up the stock to soar higher and higher over the next 24 hours. A triple-digit move here, 130% on the options.
That's remarkable, man. That some of these moves, again, there are huge moves on stocks that most people aren't getting big moves. And let's say, for example, someone put $5K in and took those two trades, that would have paid out a total of $11,420 in only 48 hours exposed to the stock market, which we all know right now, not being exposed over, these crazy gaps and moves is a huge win. That's nearly double what the average person brings in each month in total compensation. And so that's a needle moving amount of cash. And while you've never shared this breakthrough with the world before this broadcast, you're obviously no stranger to showing folks how to book those kind of profits. We had James say that he was up over $10,000, and it's going to be taking some profit soon. Phenomenal response from James. And then Charles, who said he's up $19,000 this month. What an incredible run for Charles. Be there. And then I think we've got my favorite coming up here. David A., who's the best of the best. He said, "You're easy to understand. I like what you teach." And then he threw this in at the end. He's made over $100,000 on your recommendation. So again, I mean, you're no stranger to, hearing someone say, yeah, I actually did make the $11,000 example that you're talking about. It's got to be pretty cool to see someone tell you that they made $100,000 based on your feedback.
It definitely is, Nate. Now I get chills every time I hear top stories like those from my students. And obviously, guys, David was the best we've seen so far. Hopefully, we'll get some better ones here. I've only been, doing this for about a year publicly now, so we're early.
Going to make it their mission to beat David now.
That's right. It is the mission to beat David. Now, of course, guys, I want to remind you, there's no magic 8-ball when it comes to trade. Nobody took a pill and all of a sudden won every trade overnight. There's going to be big wins. There's going to be small wins, and there's going to be losers too. Now, you should never risk more than you can afford to lose on any given trade. But that, guys, this is where it takes these moonshots up a notch. Wait till you see this. If you've been trading options for a while, you probably know that a lot of the time, some of the best stocks have pretty pricey options, like NVIDIA, for example. I've done so many classes on how to trade NVIDIA for cheap because the options are like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Nobody can afford that. When it comes to swing trading, in order to get maximum profits without paying for the time decay, you're left buying very expensive options with a longer time until expiration. That, sometimes on the cheap end, they cost $800,000, sometimes even $2,000. But with these quick moonshot investments, because they're 24-hour moves, we don't have to hold them forever. We're able to tap into cheap weekly options and actually get a lot more leverage without paying for the time decay. So why do I love these weekly options? And why do I only use them here? Well, because they're extremely affordable, for one. They have amazing liquidity, tons of volume, and they give you low exposure to time decay because we're only holding it for 24 hours. Now, if we were swing trading these, holding for a week, I would not touch weekly options. But because we're only in overnight, these make tons of sense because they supercharge the returns. For example, let's look at Abercrombie and Fitch, ANF. Again, October 6th, there you see the system picking up the moonshot trade. And if you were trading normal options, it would have cost around $965 to get in. But with the weekly options, only $103. So normal options, almost $1,000. Weekly options, just $100. And let's look at the difference in the returns over the next 24 hours. So on the left here, you see the expensive options with a little bit more time decay. 14% overnight. That's great. No one's going to complain. But these weekly options, 74% gain. Which would you prefer? Well, the answer is obvious. You see, with these weekly options, we have so much leverage that you can get in with less money, get better fills, and supercharge the returns. It's a win-win-win. It was the same thing with Kava, one of my favorite stocks right now. You guys know I love this stock. December 12th, my system picked up on the moonshot trade. And again, normal options, almost $1,000. Weekly options, $138. The results 24 hours later, let's compare them side by side. 21% or 87%. I mean, guys, it's a no-brainer. These weekly options are explosive. GE, $1,300 for the normal options, or $200 for the weekly options. Again, blows it out of the water. That's what, 5 times the return there, 5-6 times with the weekly options. And that's why, guys, like today, we're seeing APH, which the stock's up 2%. That's great. We're up like 115% right now on the options from a 2% move. It's because we're using these cheap weekly options. How about Amazon? Normal options, $1,615. Weekly options, $193. Dirt cheap options in explosive moves, 174%, way better than 24% overnight. Do you guys see the power of this? Marathon Oil, let's look at a cheaper company. Normal options, $241. I think most of us can afford that. But the weekly options, $32. Imagine gobbling up a 10 lot of those and seeing this happen overnight. Not a 22% gain like the normal options would have paid, but 118% overnight on these weekly options. And my system is specifically designed to find these types of opportunities day in and day out. Now, if you're manually trying to keep track of each stock out there, isolating these moonshot trades would honestly be a really grueling task. Trust me, I had to build the system from the ground up, and it started with trying to manually track these. Now, I honestly don't think it would even be possible. And that's why today I want to give you the keys to the kingdom. I want to give you complete access to the trades from this revolutionary system. And you can join me in the next overnight moonshot as early as today. Like I said, this breakout pattern right now is a beautiful setup, and I can almost guarantee you we're going to have an awesome setup just today. So I want to introduce the moonshots Trading Club. And here's how it's going to work. Every day, my system, it's going to be running through thousands of the biggest, most liquid stocks out there. And when it flags a moonshot trade that's just too good to pass up, well, I'll immediately package up the alert with all of the details and send it right to your email and cell phone around 3 p.m. So that way you'll have plenty of time to take the trade if you choose before the market's closed. Just check in around 3:15, somewhere around there. Now, the alert will look like this. And obviously, as you see inside, we'll have all the criteria you need, little write-up. I'll probably throw a chart in there, and then the options and stock criteria as well. Now, all that's left to do is place a trade before the closing bell, and 24 hours later, hopefully close it out for what could be the next great win, just like what happened with Netflix back in February. February 14th, there you see the system picked up the moonshot trade. I would have immediately sent you an email and text alert with all of the information, again, stock and options criteria included, and you could have followed along, entering just before the market's closed, and then enjoyed the next 24 hours doing whatever it is you like to do. Now, if this is your background, if this is your backdrop from your house, you live in a beautiful place. But wherever you live, go do whatever it is you like to do. Don't be glued to the screen. And like we've seen over and over again here on Netflix, $298 million in cash infusions hit all night long. Now, anyone who would have followed along could have seen a 93% moonshot.
Wow.
Again, 2,000 could have turned into $3,876 overnight. Now, when you become one of the exclusive members to the Moonshots Trading Club, you're going to get one trade each week on average. So that's going to be 52 shots at these 24-hour opportunities each year from the same system that showed a 74% accuracy from the study. And like I mentioned earlier, our live trades right now, we're currently at 81 or 80%, and it's going to be a little bit higher today when we close out the meta trade. And on top of the email alerts, I'll be sending out the notification via text and Telegram as well. So once you get the alerts, following along is just like 1, 2, 3, just like with the next moonshot trade the next day or the next week on AMAT, February 1st. Anyone who would have clicked a few buttons to jump in with me could have seen 177% moonshot.
Why didn't you send me that
again.
one, Graham? What's the
I
deal
know.
with
What
that?
was I thinking? Hey, the Starbucks 160% for you wasn't good enough, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't good enough.
$2,000 in this one could have turned into 5,550 overnight. Now, of course, guys, I'll keep track of the moonshot trades performance for you so you can easily see how good your results compare to the S&P 500.
So, Graham, I mean, just based on the last two examples alone, we're looking at north of $5,000 in profit. With that kind of potential, I have to imagine this package is going to be pretty steep. I mean, we're talking about 24-hour trades that over and over again are delivering pretty explosive returns. And your top programs here at Prosperity Pub already run as much as $5,000 a year. So I assume, that price will be pretty fair. Again, you've already got the testimonials and the proof to back up what you're talking about.
Well, luckily for folks out there, it's not going to be $5,000 to become an exclusive member to the Moonshots Trading Club. You see, I've set up an amazing deal for the first folks in the door today. But before I open the doors, I want to include a few extra pieces to the membership. So look, guys, if you want to trade the underlying stock when these moonshot trades arise, that's totally fine. Trade the stock. But if you want to target some of these big outsized returns like I've showed you, you need to use options, right? We talked about weekly options and how powerful those are. Now, here's what I love about the options when you overlay it on the data set. And here, the full testing here, 44% average payout. That's across winners and losers on that 24-hour hold time. Small account friendly, 74% success rate. And right now we're actually outperforming this. The average return is 51%. So we're doing a little bit better than the testing. Now, I know that not all of you have used options before, and I want you to rest assured that we are using the most basic form of options available, just call options here. So I believe that even if you're brand new to trading, you can get up and running in no time. But for those of you who want to dig a little deeper into options and maybe some other unique ways to leverage these moonshot trades, well, I want to include the Moonshot Trading Club Options Crash Course. Now, inside, you'll see a 16-module series with our top options coaches and teachers who will help you go from beginner to pro when it comes to using options. You're also going to get a recording of my $497 value wrap order masterclass, which I know people love, and the options calculators included for free. This is all complimentary for the Moonshots Trading Club members.
Graham, obviously, I know this because I've attended them and seen the feedback. Your students love your masterclass training, your wrap orders, and your calculators. This is one of my favorite things in this entire presentation is hearing people talk about the actual training. He said, being conservative, I made $2,820 in the last 2 weeks with the wrap orders, loving it from Richard. And this one is even better because this shows, so this is Greg, he made $1,000 from the NVIDIA trade, but he also did his own wrap order on GLD and made another 100%. So he's using what you taught and actually just making extra money, which I think is maybe the coolest thing that we get to do here. And then we have Doug who said, listen, if you're on the fence, 1 or 2 wrap order trades is going to pay for the whole lifetime price. Don't miss it. Best program I have ever seen. And that's just the bonus that they're going to get when they're part of Moonshot. So it's clear you're going to do everything you can to help new members get a ton of success inside the Moonshot Trading Club.
Well, Nate, I want the new members to be able to hit a home run right out of the gates, like even today. Now, here's what gets me really jazzed up about the all new Moonshots Trading Club. When you count for all of the options trades so far from the data, winners and losers, we're not cherry picking anything here. Since September 2023, $2,500 starting out would have paid $43,692 in profit. So $2,500 would have grown to $43,000. And that's not compounding. There's no fancy math here. That's just straight up trades. That's just since September as well. So if we were able to keep that pace up for the whole year, we'd be looking at right around $74,902 in profits. Now, as you guys know, I can't promise any future returns, nor protect against losses. I can tell you we are smoking this test right now in our live trades, but I can't promise any future returns. But if we were able to do that and keep up with this testing, you might find yourself in a whole new income tax bracket. So we had one of the best accountants in the world put together a special step-by-step guide for you called Your Taxes, Not a Penny More. Now, in this guide, you're going to see all the ways you're entitled to save taxes as an active trader. It'll cover everything from the trader tax status to loopholes on wash, loss, sale adjustments. Now, this is what I personally use to save money because we don't want to have to, there's a lot of rules, and this is really just an awesome guide. So please understand, guys, I'm not a CPA. I'm a trader. I can't give you tax advice, but I wanted to put this together, have a tax guide, put it together for you so you can keep as much of your money as possible, just like I do. So that's why I'm sharing this valuable resource with you. Now, the retail price for this exclusive membership is officially set to $2,495 per year. If you go through the main website, that's how much you should expect to pay. Honestly, an incredible deal. You guys probably know that by now. But for those of you who take action here in this broadcast, well, I have a few extra surprises up my sleeve. Triple bonus around here. Let's start off with bonus number 1. Now, again, using that same $2,500 starting stake that I talked about, that would have blossomed to $43,000 in about half a year. Well, if you were able to boil down the profits so far from the testing, that would shake out to right around $1,120 per trade, winners and losers on average. Pretty good. Now, I know that giving you one opportunity like that each week, that could do a lot of good for a lot of folks out there. But what if I doubled it? So bonus number 1, double moonshots. For the new members who join the Moonshots Trading Club today, we are going to start it off hot. You can expect not 1, but 2 moonshot trades each week over the course of your first year. Guys, if you count it out, that's over 100 overnight opportunities coming right to your email, right to your phone, each one from the same system that showed the power to pay $1,120 per trade, winners and losers included.
Graham, that literally doubles the value right away and makes the $24.95 fee a complete no-brainer with 100 of those moonshot opportunities. So I have to imagine these puppies are going to go lightning fast. So let's get to the brass tacks. How do people grab a limited spot in moonshots?
Well, Nate, like I said, I completely agree that this is a phenomenal value at $2,495 per year, especially considering that I'll be sending 2 overnight trade alerts each week. But I'm not done yet because we got 2 more bonuses to cover really quick here. And then we're going to open up spots and hopefully have a new trade for you. Bonus round number 2 here. The Moonshot Instant Credit. Now, the next Moonshot trade could come today, could come tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm not a genie. I can't make these opportunities pop up out of thin air. Like I've told you over and over again, I take these trades with my real money. If it's not a perfect setup, I'm not sending it to you because I only want the best of the best. Now, that said, I want to give you some instant gratification when you take action on one of the exclusive memberships today. So, like I mentioned a moment ago, each trade has shown the power to pay $1,120 on average, including the winners and the losers. So today I'm going to go ahead and reward you with that amount right here in the form of an instant credit, that much against your membership fee, knocking the price from $2,495 down to just $1,375 for complete access.
That's insane, Graham.
It's a great deal. And now, certainly but not least, bonus round number 3. Now, my goal is to see at least 5 times returns in the model portfolio this year. Actually, I'd like to do it even better. Now, obviously, no matter how good the testing is, I can't guarantee future results, but I can guarantee your satisfaction. So here's what I'm doing. The 5X satisfaction guarantee. I want you to be able to join the Moonshots Trading Club today without having to think twice about the membership fee. Now, whether the model portfolio grows 5x this year or 100x, it doesn't matter. You get to set the standard. If for whatever reason, after your first full year of use, after I send you over 100 of these overnight Moonshot trade alerts, if you don't feel like you got at least 5 times your money's worth, well, you can call my team and we'll refund every penny of your subscription cost. But if you want to join for the best deal, you're going to have to make a decision right now because we got a sweet, sweet deal going today. So if you're ready to take action and join the all new Moonshots Trading Club with over 100 trade alerts sent right to your phone, email, text over the next year, well, and claiming the 1,120 instant savings, plus all the other goodies and the satisfaction guarantee, then get ready to click the link in the chat in 3, 2, 1. Here it goes, guys. Click that link in the chat. Claim your Moonshots exclusive membership today. Again, 100 plus overnight trades per year. It's 11,120 in savings when you join today. Don't go to the main website. Don't pay full price, even though, you know, if we were to sell out of this and that full price deal was $2,500 online, it would be worth it to join. Don't wait around for that. Just
Dude,
join
100 trades, dang right, it'll be worth it to join.
That's right. And guys, once you take one of the best deal memberships available, I want to warn you, don't close the next page. So take your membership, but don't exit right away, because on that next page, you're going to get a unique invite to upgrade your membership to lifetime. That means no renewal fees ever again. Plus, the lifetime members will get a free copy of the Moonshot scanner code. That's the same code that I sent Nate when he hit his 160% overnight winner on Starbucks just this past Thursday. Now, that way you're going to be able to access even more of these reliable setups anywhere, anytime, just like I do. Now, it's only going to take you a few minutes to install the code. No confusing downloads or programs needed. It'll be online, stockfetcher.com. You can have a free account, or you can pay $7 a month to get the paid account. Then the setup is easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, once you have your hands on the code, you'll have virtually unlimited amounts of these Moonshot opportunities at your fingertips. Plus, maybe most importantly, a lifetime membership to the Moonshots Trading Club. So year after year access. You don't have to pay a renewal fee ever again, guys. Go ahead, lock in that deal. Go to prosperitypub.com/club or give us a call, 904-404-8873, and then press 1. It's going to direct you right to the concierge team where they can get you taken care of and locked in on this special pricing today. Now, my team and I have been working on developing the system for a long time. And again, like I told you, I thought it was going to be a few more months of testing. But over the last few weeks, I've been sharing the Moonshot trades with the All Access Diamond members as we worked out the final kinks. And so far, guys, the results are nothing short of incredible. The live trade signals so far, let me pull them over here on the screen. I want to give you the most up-to-date data right here. We've got Meta open. Oh, no, where to go? Here we go. We've got Meta open still. That one's up. Meta's up 1 1/3 on the stock. It's up 31% right now, Meta is, from our trade yesterday. But here you go, 75% hit rate, 776 profit factor, and $2,500 or $5K starting out would have turned to $30,000 in just not even a month's time. So
guys, those are real trades that Graham is. If that Excel sheet is not enough to get you to join Moonshots right now in the next 2 minutes, I don't know what else would. This is insane. Real trades, a 7.7 profit factor and a 75% win rate on Moonshot types trades. I mean, this is insane. I can't wait for. I hope you get one today. I'm gonna take today's if you have one, Graham. So I'm looking forward to it, especially with this market action.
I'll have to pull up the scanner here in a second, and I'll let you guys know a little sneak peek. I'm not going to give away the ticker. That's for the members only. You guys aren't going to want to miss out on the next one. But when I logged on today, Nate, there was 2 really sweet looking opportunities, and you guys don't want to miss out on it. So go ahead, claim your membership today. And if you're one of the new members who joins right here in this room, inside your members portal, you're going to see another bonus valued at $9.95 that you can access for free. Now, it says right now, we're going to do a special class is what I'm going to do. It's going to be a special guide available nowhere else in the entire world. It's going to give you insights on how I've been able to isolate these 24-hour moves. If you want to claim this special bonus additional to the offer, you need to sign up right now and go ahead and click that link in the chat or give us a call. So, guys, again, these are fun. These are electric. These are the most most appealing trades that I'm making right now, because the big thing with all the uncertainty, you don't want to be locked into the markets for months and months on end. This is a great way to gain some quick exposure for some quick moves. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and please don't forget, you're going to get an entire year of Moonshot trades, which is 100 trades, literally 100 trades, to make sure that these are actually working exactly like you want. And if you don't feel like you're getting 5 times your money's worth, then give us a call. At the end of that year, we'll refund the full subscription cost. Graham is a lot like me. He's not going to keep you captive if you're not excited about what you're doing with them. And I think you will be based on what he's done so far. And you know, you can keep the special bonus reports and all that good stuff, even if you decide to refund just as part of the value. Now, obviously, I fully expect everyone to be thrilled. I'm going to be taking a ton of these trades as well. Every time I can get my hands on one, Graham already kind of, you know, took a few without me, which I'm pretty upset about, but that's okay. Going forward, I'm looking forward to moonshots just like the rest of you. And, you know, especially with Graham taking the risk completely off you guys and putting it on him. So go ahead, claim your spot, use the entire year to take advantage of the Moonshots Trading Club. Again, 100 plus trades, the huge discount, the bonus classes, which, as you saw from the testimonials, I mean, they're literally worth the entire cost of the membership just by themselves. I think this is probably as big of a no-brainer offer as we do here in our business at Prosperity Pub.
Nate, I've just looked at my account. I'm so jazzed up, guys. These are the trades I sent out to you guys yesterday. Look at this. I sent out 5 just so you guys get a taste. Look at these results overnight.
Even G's gonna get you a win.
I know we're 5 for 5 so far. When I first logged on, I said 4 for 5, and that was great with me. Look at this, guys. This is from just yesterday. I posted it for you guys. Hopefully, you were able to get a taste. But that's just one day of many that we're gonna have, and we're gonna have a lot of fun here in the program. Now, guys, if there's one thing I want you to remember from today's class, it's this: if you've struggled in the bear market or even the bull market, I want you to know it's probably not because you're a bad trader. Remember, you're probably looking at the wrong place at the wrong time. Wall Street Journal pointed this out. Remember, all of the volume, there's a good amount happening in the open, not much during the day. It's all happening at that closing auction. And it's in that final hour of the day that Wall Street will dump millions, sometimes even billions into stocks. And it's these cash infusions just before the close that can tip off these 24-hour moves day after day. Like ExxonMobil here, $262 million cash infusion, and the result, 77% overnight. What about Generac here? Look at that, blowing out every single volume stick by nearly triple. And look at that, 104% moonshot. Nike, I can show you guys this again and again, 93%. Again, we're going to get 100 plus of these opportunities over the course of the year. Obviously, not every single one's going to be a winner, but if we can keep up with the current rate we're at, we're worth of 80% on the win rate. I got to punch in Meta's winner later today. That's going to take it up to 82%, I believe. So we are killing it. We're going to get 100 more over the course of the next year.
Graham, it's absolutely a no-brainer. I'm not saying that just to say it. 100 trades and the track record you put together. It's an absolute no-brainer. I can't wait to tune in for the new trade, which I hope comes today. But really quick, before we open the chat, because it's absolutely flooded. Sorry, guys. We will get. I know your chat
Over
is piling
100
up.
chats.
We will hang out and answer the questions. At first, I just want to cover the main stuff to get that out of the way, because I know most of the questions are about a couple of these key things. Like number one, how much money is actually going to be needed on average to take a moonshot trade?
So the trades average around 250, and it's small account friendly, but I'm going to show you guys some tricks. So yesterday, the ones I sent out, I believe the average was $80, $90, $100 per option. But I'm going to show you guys some extra tricks to get the cost down to as low as $50. So there's going to be learning in here too that I'm adding complimentary, but the basic core trades, if you just want to blindly take those, they're going to be very cheap for you.
Okay, now, of course, we got to ask this one. Will every trade be a winner?
Of course not, guys. No strategy wins all the time. If you're joining today expecting to win every single trade, save yourself some time, save me a headache, just pass. But if you're a reasonable trader and you get pretty jacked up about a 70% win rate or a current 82% win rate, well, then this is the program for you, because according to the back test and real money trades so far, these have been extremely profitable for folks who stick to the system. I haven't even punched in Meta's winner today, but again, so far over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks of live trades, we're up to $30,000 in profits in the model portfolio. So like I said, we're blowing the back testing out of the water.
Yeah. Now, of course, this is one that I think is on everyone's mind. We're seeing the market shockingly move to all-time highs right now, but should we be worried about downside for the rest of the year?
Well, I mean, to be frank, maybe you should be worried about downside, but the beauty of this system is that we're only exposed to the market for 24 hours at a time. And when we are in, we're backed by heavy buying volume, and that helps uphold these stocks even in a downturn, and that helps give us that incredible win rate as well.
Yeah. Now, a big question people have, of course, is can they trade it in an IRA, 401k, their typical retirement account?
Yep, it's retirement account friendly if you want to trade it there. And of course, if you're using a normal account like I am, any regular brokerage does the trick.
All right. Now we got to know, what is the next moonshot trade, Graham?
Well, I'm only sharing that information with today's new members, guys. So if you're thinking about it, guys, now is the time to act. We're going to hopefully have a new trade set up here in just a matter of minutes. I've got 2 really good ones on the scanner right now. And like I told you guys at the beginning, I'm expecting a big follow through day tomorrow. I think this is going to be an excellent opportunity, and I hope you guys take action and join. Yes, it does look like we are running a special deal right now. If you guys want to click that link in the chat and head on over to the membership page.
Now, Graham, I did see a couple questions, so I just want to make sure 100% clear and I don't say the wrong thing. Yesterday, you gave those trades for free to everyone. Is that correct? So the
All but
membership
Meta was members only. So we're
Okay,
up 40% on Meta now.
Gotcha.
That
Okay,
one was
that's what I
members
trying to
only. The other
clarify.
4, I said, hey guys, these are the bonus ones that were on the scanner that I passed up because I took Meta. Meta was a great strong stock. We're at 40%. So I gave the other 4 as a bonus for free in Telegram. I'll pull them up again just so you guys can see how they're performing. This is live market trading. Again, we're not messing around here. So these are the picks from yesterday. GE is the laggard, 2%. Come on. But APH, 108% overnight. Goldman Sachs, 38%. HWM, which is a similar stock to GE, 46% overnight in Meta, 39 flirting with that 40% overnight. So all in all, for me, I just did a couple contracts each, up 12.65 since I sent that to you guys yesterday. So 1,200, almost enough to pay the membership fee in one night.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how Meta closes, that $2,500 stake could literally have paid for the membership in the first 24 hours. Very close, but still pretty good. And of course, the big question we're getting, are they complex? Do you have to learn the wrap orders, all of that? And the answer is no. I mean, these are literally the easiest type of options you could ever trade.
That's right. So these are just basic call options, guys. You just need level 1. Now, that said, as a bonus, remember, there's that $500 bonus. I'm going to be including some additional training. So with Meta, for example, I gave 2 different ones to show you guys the power of it. And the basic call options up 37%, which is awesome. But that additional, the debit wrap that I gave is up about 45%. So I'm trying to teach you guys additional ways to use options. And kind of like we covered earlier, let me pull these up again because I just love seeing these results here. My goal with these trainings is for you guys to be like Richard, who makes a little extra money with what I'm teaching. 2,820. Greg, this again is the perfect story. He made money following my trade, $1,000 on Nvidia, and then he did his own trade on GLD gold, close that out for 100% gain. Doug, it says 1 or 2 wrap orders will pay for the entire lifetime price. Don't miss it. Best program he's ever seen. Now, guys, again, this is just basic calls. That's just the bonus. That's just the bonus here. The core strategy here is basic calls, cheap options, big leverage, overnight moves, 24 hours.
And I love how you actually got into the weeds today and explained to people the difference between the weekly and the regular options. I was hoping you would really dive in and get deep because it is extraordinary. Most people can never do that because they can't time short-term trades, right? So they can't risk the money trading in a weekly option. It's actually a horrible idea for 99% of traders. But if you can actually harness short-term moves, weekly options become like an absolute gold mine because of exactly what you showed today. And I love the fact too that you're talking about 24 hours. So you're not worried about what happens if the option expires, what happens if I have to roll it, literally all of that is out the window. You hold it for 24 hours, you close it, you're done with the trade, you move on to the next opportunity. It can't really get any simpler than that for an options trader.
That's right. And we're getting some questions here. What strike you by, guys? I'm going to give you all of the details listed. I'm going to give you the exact option that I'm buying too. So no question. It's all gonna be listed out there. Very plain and simple for you guys to get rolling. John's in. Awesome. Excited to have Glenn. I'm looking forward to it too, Glenn. It's great to see you, Glenn. Hopefully I'll see you down here in Jacksonville soon again.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, post if you're in, because I know we've got an absolute flood of people, but not everyone is posted if they're in. So let us shout you out. I know we got a ton of people. Plus, we already had some people sneak in on the red carpet before this. So just if you're in on Moonshots, give us a yes there. We got Ron, we've got Fred, we've got Joanne, we've got Silvana, we've got Angeline, Brian, Wendy, Swede, John, Sylvia, Roger, Martin, Babette, Sandra, Zoom user, Todd, AJ, Mike. I mean, this is phenomenal that this many people, and it just keeps flooding. James, thank you guys. Super excited for you. I am considering myself in as well, although Graham did give me complimentary access. So I can't say that I officially joined, but I did get access. I got through the back door, and I am absolutely pumped about some of these trades because I've been talking about this already. I've been talking about how the market is shifting to this kind of chaotic short-term money moving around. And so the fact that Graham have been testing this at the same time that I've been blabbering on about these short-term kind of capital injections is a really great fit. So I'm really looking forward to the trades and, hopefully one today. Are you going to give us a sneak peek if we have one today, Graham?
I don't know if that'd be fair to the members, but it's literally right here
Well,
Oh, I
not the
wish I could
ticker.
show
I
it to
just
you
mean
guys.
if it's a yes or no, green light, red light is all I'm looking for.
It's a warm green
Okay.
right now.
All right, cool.
I mean, it looks amazing. Nate, I'll send it to you privately,
Okay.
and you tell me what you think of this one.
All right, sweet.
I'm texting it to you right now. Just sent. Jason just posted in the chat. Program has been a home run for me, and he's just getting started. Awesome, Jason. That's great.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks like it's set up to follow the market and get to all-time highs tomorrow, right?
That's right. I think so. It's up huge today. It is getting a ton of money pouring into it. This ticker we're talking about. Looking at Moonshot today. If you guys want in, go ahead and click that link in the chat. I think we have a special deal going right now, additional to what's going on with that $1,120 savings. So go ahead and get your membership locked in, and let's have some fun, guys. 100 plus of these over the course of the year. Now, some of you guys are asking that $76,000 profit pace from the testing. What is that based on? That's based on $2,500. So if you want to start with 2,500, that's great. If you want to start with a couple $100, that is also great too. Again, guys, don't risk more than you could afford to lose. Just because sometimes I'll put 10,000 into an option doesn't mean you have to do it as well. If you're in, especially for you guys just getting started out, I encourage you paper trade for a while, gain some confidence.
Especially
Learn
because
to
you have
trust and
100
follow the
alerts
system.
in a year to work with on this thing. You can really take your time, start slow. But of course, you should get lifetime, and then the time is not even an issue. By the way, let me say something about the lifetime that I think is really important. Graham, do you mind pulling up your current set of trades for today again on the screen for everyone?
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that.
So I think something really important to talk about in terms of the lifetime, which you can get on the next page. So Graham ended up having 5 trades from yesterday. You can see the official trade was Meta, which is great. It's actually right around the average performance there. GE popping, by the way, up 17% now. But if you have the scanner, you could have done what Graham did. You could have balanced your trades across 3, 4, 5 trades. What that's going to do, it's going to add some consistency to your equity curve, because of course Graham's going to have some official alerts that lose, but he might on that same day have 2 or 3 others that he didn't alert that were steady winners. And so you can actually do exactly what Graham did last night, kind of mix and match across a couple different tickers. Now you're probably not going to do 5 on an average day, but you might do 2 or 3 on a given day, and that's going to give you a lot of consistency across your account.
Yeah, that's a great point. Nate, and guys, I have training there built out for you guys. So when you get your hands on this scanner, how to use it. But we're also going to have a master class where I'm going to take you through it step by step, how I use it, how I filter through the good ones, maybe why I might pass on a stock, but ultimately how to hopefully pick some more winners just like these. And Nate, look at that. If I were to close these out right now, it'd be enough to pay for the membership. And we're not even 24 hours in. We're 23 hours in. So there you go, guys. There you have it. Again, real money trades. You can see here real-time data. This isn't a paper trade account. This is real money. I'm almost doubled my 25K account this year.
Yeah,
so
Susie. So those are from the scanner. So only one, Meta, was an official moonshot alert, but the scanner finds a couple a day very often. So Graham just had a couple bonus ones in there from the scanner. By the way, guys, if you are chatting in questions, we are probably about 200 chats behind. If we missed your question, just try to type it again in one kind of concise, clear question, if you don't mind. If you want to type those in again, and we'll make sure to hit them. I know we're yapping. Raleigh's typing away, typing with the wind, and we're still missing half the question. So just bear with us. Obviously, a ton of people in here and a ton of questions flying
Absolutely. And, first of all, unbelievable presentation. And I did capture a number of questions, and I kind of consolidated them a little bit while people are putting some new stuff in here. One question that came up from several people is that, do you scale out for profit throughout the day, or do you just basically go for, exiting with a profit all at once?
So typically, Raleigh, what I like to do is I like to hold it for 24 hours. So I was the best on the testing. Now, this morning, we had a massive pop at the open. So I tried to tell people, hey, if you want to take profits this morning, if you want to just close it out, enjoy the rest of your day hands-free, do that. I told everyone that I would be officially closing out later this afternoon, 3 to 4 p.m. But it's really up to you guys. The testing was best for 24 hours, but I know some people get busy during the day. So if you wake up, 9:30 bell rings, and you're up 100%, maybe you want to close that one out and get on with your day.
I got you. That makes an awful lot of sense. And that got to the next question about the 24 hours, because people are hanging on every word, quite literally. And the question was, do you mean we should wait exactly 24 hours before getting out of the trade, or should we trade anytime the following day if the price is right? And I think you just answered that, but why don't you just address that again?
Yep. So guys, I'm entering my trades between that 3 to 4 p.m. window typically, and I'm exiting between that 3 to 4 p.m. window. So if you enter at 3:31 and exit the day at next day at 3:15, that's close enough to 24 hours. You know, you're gonna get some give and take there. Some days it'll be better, some days it'll be slightly worse. But all in all, we want to enter and exit during that 3 to 4 p.m. window. Have a chat here if we want to set an order good to close the market close. You can do that. That's a great way to trade as well.
Certainly. And as you said, if you wake up the next day and you're up 100%, you might decide I'm good enough for that. You know,
Yeah.
another question is this: if the trade goes on a Friday, do you hold over the weekend?
Yes. Yep. So if we're entering a trade Friday just before the close, we'd be selling it Monday at the end of the day, Monday. So we
And I
couple
have a
examples in here,
theory.
actually.
I have a theory that some of the weekend trades are the biggest ones. I haven't actually backed this up, but just looking at a few of the examples you sent, I have a theory that it's just more time for Wall Street to do some
And with regard to those people that sign up for lifetime and they get the scanner code, is that specific to any platform like Thinkorswim or StockFetcher or something like that?
So that scanner code does apply to StockFetcher, which you
Okay.
can have a free membership for. I just do the paid one. It's like $7 a month. It costs next to nothing, and it'll unlock a lot of cool features for you in there. And I know we have some questions about Thinkorswim. I'm trying to get it built out for Thinkorswim. What I really like about StockFetcher is when I run the system, it'll just show me the charts real quick, so I can really easily get a glimpse of, hey, that looks like good, or that one's, I will pass on that one.
Oh,
That's why I use StockFetcher.
so just to be clear on this for people that are asking, you do not have to have the code to take advantage of these alerts, folks. You know, you do not have to have that, because you're going to be served up everything that you need. You're going to get 100 of those per year. But for those that are lifetime members, if you'd like to have the same kind of scanning code that Graham uses and maybe identify some additional opportunities for yourself, that's what the value of that is.
Yep. Let's see. We're getting a lot of questions here. The members area should be up today, guys. So if you join the red carpet deal, it should be popping up in your members portal today.
Okay. And so I get, guys, any of you that have any questions about payment programs or things of that nature, the thing you need to do is call 904-404-8873 and chat with them. I know for a fact we do not accept PayPal, but for those of you that are inquiring, you know, can you divide things up or whatnot? We can't address those here. That'll come through our telesales group. And if they can help you, they will. But go 904-404-8873, press 1.
And yes, you can access the scanner on the web. So your computer, laptop, whatever.
And Graham, are we doing long only on the moonshots? Are they all bullish because of the capital floods?
Yep, these are call options only. You know, if we get a really good setup to the downside, I might give that as a bonus. But typically, guys, the system works. But here's the thing, guys: stocks tend to go up. 70% of the time, stocks are going up. So I don't really like to fight against that too much. Now, if we get a great opportunity to the downside, I'll make it a bonus. But typically, just calls, real easy.
Yep. Beautiful.
All right. And for any of those of you that are out there that are having a difficult time getting through for any reason, you could also do this: leave your name and phone number, and we'll be glad to have any of our customer service agents give you a call if that's more convenient to you. So put your name and phone number in there and say, give me a call. And they'll be glad to do that. They can answer questions. They can take your orders over the phone. Hey, guys, what about folks that are outside the United States and they want to take advantage of this opportunity? Is this something that they can do?
Yeah, as long as they can trade U.S. stocks, they can follow the alert for sure. So as long as you have a broker that allows you to trade, you know, normal stocks and options on U.S. stocks, there's nothing in the service that prevents you from just following the alerts the exact same way.
Excellent. So I know we have a number of people here from the United Kingdom and other places like that. Once again, if you have access like to international brokers or tradier or brokerage firms like that, you'll be able to trade these alerts.
Yeah. Hey, Graham, here's a good question for you. If someone wants to really take the scanner and make it their own and become a moonshot beast of a trader, are you going to teach them kind of the option selection process and how to find those for all the extra trades they want to take?
Yeah, all of that information is going to be on the masterclass.
Okay.
So we're going to cover everything there.
Love it. Dino, you should see access within a couple minutes. Now, we obviously had a ton of people join like in a very tight period of time. So our system might be clogged a little bit on getting that access email out, but it should be definitely within a few minutes. Obviously kind of do all the usual stuff, check spam, check junk, make sure that it didn't get slipped away somewhere. But that should be in there, something like confirmation or welcome to Moonshot Trading Club in the email there.
And that the members portal's on that one-click trading website that we're just moving everything over. So it's going to have all the alerts in a nice chronological order for you. Much simpler for you guys.
Yeah, and all these instructions, folks, as to where you go and how you access this information will come in the confirmation email that you get once you sign up for the program.
Yeah, and Edward and a few others asking about seeing that. If you're someone who's all access or diamond or something, because the official launch literally just happened a couple minutes ago, I think they're updating those right now in real time for you, so that you should be seeing that. So log in, log back out, or just give it, the extra. I guess I don't know what time it is, but 40 minutes until the official alert comes out here. 45 minutes, and it should definitely be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so some people are asking about the wrap orders again. Graham, if you just want to walk through the fact that, that's not part of the service, but it's a bonus that they can use.
It's a bonus.
They learn.
It's just a cool other ways to leverage options for even bigger gains, cheaper cost. So I'll cover all of that, guys, and we'll have some free sessions too. We're probably gonna do some live trades. I love doing that. Jason, is the scanner available on the members portal? Yes, it should be. You should be able to log in if you're a lifetime member and get that scanner. Frank, I probably won't do a first and second profit target, but Frank, what I'm going to do starting now is give you guys a ranking of conviction levels. So 1 to 3. So 1 being the lowest conviction, but still a good trade. 3 being the highest, like, oh, this is a really, really good setup. So that should be helpful, Frank.
Nice.
Hopefully you enjoy that.
I love that.
Rob, StockFetcher is the current platform for using the code, but I trade on Thinkorswim. You can trade on any regular brokerage.
And when the alerts are posted, these come out via text and also via email and Telegram. And Graham, are you basically alerting people that there is a trade waiting in the members area, or do you actually post the trade information in email or Telegram or whatnot?
I'll have to check with the team. I know that they are getting it to a place where it's all going in the email. The sell alerts, it's just a little too long to post in the cell, so it'll just be a link you click and it'll take you to the one-click trading portal where you'll see all the information there right away.
Right. I remember talking to the folks too that there are some issues with the kind of information that we're posting, financial information with regard to text and things of that nature. So, email would make sense. And people are wondering, is there a unique Telegram channel for this at this point in time?
It's going to be in the core Telegram channel. And again, it'll be one-click link that you just click and it'll take you right to that trade alert.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Graham mentioned, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you're looking for access, make sure you're on that one-click trading app. I think it's app.oneclicktrading. That's the new membership site that we just moved everything into. By the way, that's going to get really cool really quick. Right now, we're in phase 1, but there's some really cool automated stuff and things we're going to do through that website, which is why we've spent so much time and money getting that set up. And right now, it's just kind of basic, but it's going to be really cool. But just make sure you're actually on that domain. Kind of first things first.
That's right. And Ron, if you're having trouble finding your login information, go ahead and give us a call. He said he got it on Friday when we did that red carpet reveal. Ron, give us a call. They'll be able to help you out. Robert, I'm going to make the scanner. I'm going to try and work to make it for Thinkorswim where it's really easy to use. Right now it's StockFetcher, and that's only for the lifetime members. All right. If you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them now, but I am going to go ahead and tell you guys I can give it 10 minutes max right now because I got to jump off. Check the Moonshot system. If hopefully we get this alert. I sent Nate the ticker. He said it looks awesome. So if we go and type it up and send it out to the members.
Yeah, this is where you said it was looking good, right? But not guaranteed, but it's getting warm is what you were saying.
But I'm not going to front run the new members. I'm going to wait until the official alert comes out. Okay, so I'll be waiting just like you guys for the official alert, and hoping that it triggers, and then get a nice continuation of this big move in the overall market we got today.
Definitely. Thank you, John. Yes, Bats, it can any day.
Yeah, and on
Rob-
Stock Fetcher, guys, you can use the free version, or if you want to, I guess the paid for version's around $7-8.
Yeah, that's what I have, the paid one. It's, really affordable. What's the extra bonus today? So the extra bonus is we're going to do a live class where I'm going to take you through the setups. I'm going to talk you through the weekly options, how to do option selection. So then if you want to try and apply the options to other moonshot opportunities from that scanner, you can.
And FBAS says, so the trades can come out on any day. They don't come out on a specific day. And so I know that you're doing 2 per week. It's once the setup is there, right, Graham? We can't
That's
predict
right.
the day it's going to happen.
And like I said, I'm putting my own money behind these trades, so I'm not going to force anything. I'm not a genie. I can't make a stock move the way I want it to. So we're going to trade the ebbs and flows of the market. So that means some weeks you might get 3 trades. Some weeks you might get 1. But overall, we're going to have over 100 this year.
Excellent.
All right, thanks, Josiah, for posting that. Everyone should see that now. If you're new, you're welcome for information. Josiah posted it. So the subject line of the email is confirmation, welcome to Moonshots Trading Club. And then it's the main members area site, app.oneclicktrading.com. So just jump to that, and you should be all set here and locked and loaded for our first alert.
Does the system need a specific brokerage? Dino, no, you should be able to use any regular brokerage. So I use Thinkorswim. I also have Robinhood. I've used Tastyworks. I've used a bunch of different brokerages. They all should work.
And once again, for those of you, I know that we have a fellow here named User. I wish you would post your name, guys. We have a lot of people called User. So this particular user, I think, is in the UK, saying good names for brokers. Interactive Broker is a good international company. Tradier does that. Nathan, you may know others, but those are good starting points. They give access and allow people outside the United States to trade stocks and options. And you need to be able to trade U.S. stocks and options. And if I'm not mistaken, Graham, essentially, we're going to be buying calls in this program.
Yep.
And you are, as a bonus, going to show people how they might be able to trade this wrap trade that you put together, which is a type of spread. And that's an opportunity to potentially get lower costs and even wring more profits out. But generally speaking, if you can buy a call, you should be good to go with this program.
Yep. And Sandy is asking, can we get a test trade this week? Well, I gave you guys a few yesterday for free in Telegram, and here are the results overnight. So obviously we had a great day in the stock market today, but 100%, 25%, 37%, 43%, and 55% on Meta. It just keeps going. Now, again, guys, typically, I'm going to close these.
Is that GE up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 25%.
Yep.
I should make this bigger, but
I think we started the webinar GE down 3%.
It was down 5%. I think it was the only loser, and then it just started moving.
I tell you, the stock market is having fun today. So you can see it.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger for you guys.
Beautiful.
But so, Sandy, to answer your question, Sandy, you said, can you have a test trade you saw yesterday but didn't take it? Well, you see the results there. Real money trades right now. Again, I thought we were going to be 4 for 5 this morning, but so far 5 for 5. Can't complain about that.
Can't complain about 5 for 5. All right, I'm just scrolling through here.
Joe, the training's not today. We're going to plan it for sometime, probably not next week, because I'm supposed to have our first kid next week, which will be awesome. She's coming on May 23rd due date, so we're less than 10 days away. But it'll be the following week, Joe.
Yeah, and by the way, hopefully I'll join you for that session too. But it'll be nice to see a couple trades and how they've worked out as a backdrop before we do that first class. They can kind of follow the exact rules you give them, and then they'll be at a spot where they can expand a little bit on that in the bonus class. So I think that timing will work out really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And Thomas, he says looking forward to a great year of great trades. I am too, Thomas. These are so fun, so exciting. Jeremy, congrats on the baby. Thank you, Jeremy.
And from what I understand, if we win the first trade tomorrow, you're naming the baby Moonshot. Is that
that's
is that accurate?
Hey, tomorrow's my birthday, so I'll name the baby Graham. It's a girl. Probably won't do that.
And from what I understand, if we win the first trade tomorrow, you're naming the baby Moonshot. Is that is that accurate?
Hey, tomorrow's my birthday, so I'll name the baby Graham. It's a girl. Probably won't do that.
I love that moonshot. It's something Frank Zappa did, I think.
Oh, nice, Andy. You got the hot sheet. That's a great tool.
All right.
East, we shouldn't expect to see any kind of alerts until 3 or after. Yeah, that's right, East. That's just how the strategy works. So we're looking for that buying going into that closing hour of the day, and then we're going to hold it for 24 hours.
Now, Graham, correct me if I'm wrong. So the most typical situation here, check your email around 3:15, see if we got an alert. Take a minute, pop the alert in basic call or put. And then probably best case is check your phone at 9:30 just in case we got a crazy gap and we got a specialty. Hey, the trade's up 200%, so get out. Check that for 2 minutes, and as long as nothing's going on there, then just check back at 3 later that day. Is that about right?
Yep. And really, guys, if we get a big news-based gap like today where the market just shoots up like crazy, I'm just going to let you know, hey, we're going to be up this morning. Things look good. If you want to take profits, do that. Again, I'm going to be closing out at that 24-hour window typically.
Gotcha.
All right. Any more questions for Graham or for Nathan while we've got them? As Graham said, he needs to wrap things up here a little bit. He's got some work to do today as he looks to potentially package up this trade that could be happening today. I also want to let you all know, folks, the quick little spoiler alert that we're going to be doing a live repeat of this presentation at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So it's 2:25 now. In an hour